Chapter 573. Tang Xiong transformed into a streak of light and flew underground. Ning Fan's eyes were filled with contemplation. Moments later, he flicked his sleeve and disappeared from the palace with Qing Dai. In the next moment, the two of them appeared outside the treasury that was 3 million meters underground. The underground was extremely spacious, and there was a huge treasury there. The protective formation light of the treasury was not activated. Perhaps it was because old monster Fusang was here and there was no need to activate it. At this moment, Gomang monarch Tang Xiong was standing respectfully behind old monster Fusang. He had the attitude of a junior and no longer had the arrogance of a monarch. Old demon Fusang was dressed in a black robe. He stood with his hands behind his back. His white hair reached the ground, and his white eyebrows were white without a beard. His eyes narrowed and met with Ning Fan's gaze. Then, he quietly released his aura, covering the entire underground space. That was the aura force of a void fragmentation realm expert. All cultivators below the void fragmentation realm are ants. Ning Fan did not avoid old demon Fu Sang's gaze at all. Instead, he looked him in the eye. An invisible aura spread out between the two of them. Tang Xiong was a great void stage cultivator, but under the pressure of the two's auras, he felt suffocated. After taking a few steps back, he felt that his breathing had become smoother. Qing Dai was just a void glimpse stage cultivator. How could she withstand the aura force of a void fragmentation realm expert? Her hands trembled slightly. This was the first time she felt the aura force of a void fragmentation realm old monster at such a close distance, very strong, terrifyingly strong. In front of a void fragmentation cultivator, she was just an ant that couldn't even breathe. In his dantian, the medicine soul was shivering. Within his head, his sea of consciousness was trembling and on the verge of collapse. She felt that it was getting harder and harder to breathe. She was almost blown away by old monster Fusang's aura. However, she had always been stubborn. She refused to yield in front of a void fragmentation realm old monster. She was not willing to retreat like Tang Xiong. We mustn't be afraid. My Ming Luo clan still has a void fragmentation realm enemy. His name is Wan Changkong and he is the strongest puppet master in the tree world. One day, I will represent the Ming Luo clan to take revenge on that Wan Changkong. If I'm afraid of the void fragmentation aura here, what qualifications do I have to stand in front of Wan Changkong? I can't be afraid. Qing Dai bit her lips and tried hard to suppress the panic in her heart. Her face gradually turned pale, as if her lungs were injured by the momentum. Even so, she did not want to retreat or escape. Being weak wasn't scary. What was scary was not having the determination to defeat the strong. Just as her demon soul was about to be injured by the void fragmentation realm aura force, a gentle voice entered her ears. Then, the void fragmentation realm aura force that oppressed her to the point where she found it hard to breathe slowly dissipated. Don't be afraid. Ning Fan turned around and smiled. He gently flicked his sleeves and clenched his 5 fingers, crushing the aura force that was suppressing Qing Dai. With Ning Fan's protection, Qing Dai's discomfort gradually disappeared. She said to Ning Fan with half gratitude and half apology. I'm sorry, it's all because of me. She knew that Ning Fan was secretly competing with old demon Fusang in terms of aura force. She knew that because she refused to retreat, Ning Fan had no choice but to protect her. However, because Ning Fan took the initiative to attack, he was at a disadvantage in this battle of aura. Qing Dai blamed herself very much. If she had obediently retreated a little, Ning Fan would not have lost because of her. It's just a small matter, don't worry about it. Ning Fan smiled disapprovingly. He turned around and looked at old demon Fusang again. To him, a victory or defeat that did not matter much was not worth worrying about. Little girl, you're not bad. Your aptitude might not be the best, but it's very commendable that you have a Dao heart that is not afraid of strong opponents. I didn't expect that the Ming Luo clan could still have such a descendant. It's really rare. More than 100,000 years ago, I was just a void pierce stage cultivator. I could be considered as a good friend of the high priest of the Ming Luo clan. You're also considered as my junior. This jade slip was obtained by me in the past. Now, I'm giving it to you as a return to its rightful owner. Old Demon Fusang chuckled and gave Qing Dai a satisfied smile. He reached his hand into his sleeve and took out a damaged jade slip. He flicked his finger and tossed it to Qing Dai. Ning Fan waved his hand and stopped the jade slip on Qing Dai's behalf. He scanned the contents of the jade slip with his spirit sense and revealed a strange expression. Then, he passed the jade slip to Qing Dai. This is a gift from Senior Fusang. Just accept it. Oh. Qing Dai nodded obediently. She received the jade slip and scanned it with her spirit sense. At first, she did not show any reaction. However, the more she read the contents of the jade slip, the more surprised she became. In the end, she actually bowed to old Demon Fusang with gratitude. Thank you for giving me this jade slip, Senior. This jade slip recorded dozens of lost secret techniques of the Ming Luo clan. Old Demon Fusang obtained them from the Ming Luo clan when he was young. At that time, he was the clan leader of the Ming Luo clan and had a good relationship with the Ming Luo clan. Both clans had given each other many secret techniques. During the calamity 10,000 years ago, not only did the experts of the Ming Luo clan die, but many of the clan's secret technique jade slips were also destroyed. Many of the secret techniques were lost. The jade slip that old Demon Fusang gave to Qing Dai was extremely significant to the Ming Luo clan. Qing Dai was naturally very grateful. Hee. You're welcome. The Ming Luo clan and the Ming Luo clan have been on good terms for generations. It's only natural for them to return the secret techniques. What he said was just for show. Perhaps when the Ming Luo clan was at its peak, the two clans were indeed on good terms. However, as the Ming Luo clan declined, the Ming Luo clan no longer maintained a good relationship with them. Otherwise, why would Tang Xiong use the 10 Ming Luo puppets as the reward for the mission? Why didn't he directly return the puppets to the Ming Luo clan? Otherwise, why didn't old Demon Fusang return the jade slip earlier or later? Why did he only return the jade slip after Ning Fan appeared? Ning Fan, of course, would not be intimidated by such polite words. He could tell that the reason why old Demon Fusang showed goodwill to Qing Dai and the Ming Luo clan was actually because of him. Old Demon Fusang has a favor to ask of me. Ning Fan thought to himself. It was human nature to flatter the strong and belittle the weak. There was nothing wrong with the Ming Luo clan not continuing to maintain a good relationship with the Ming Luo clan when the Ming Luo clan declined. In the cultivation world, the relationship between two clans was simply a matter of interests. If the forces of the two clans were not on the same level, they naturally would not have any interactions. Ning Fan did not have any prejudice against old Demon Fusang. He was just very curious about what exactly the old demon needed his help with. If it's really what he guessed, he certainly could not help him. Fellow Taoist Lu killed 2 Guiyuan tree kings on your own. Such strength really surprised me. I heard from Tang Xiong that your baleful qi is extremely terrifying. Moreover, Tang Xiong felt that you have killed void fragmentation realm cultivators before. Hee. I wonder if I have the honor to witness your baleful qi. Old Demon Fusang's tone was very polite. Ning Fan thought to himself. It was impossible for a void fragmentation realm old monster to show goodwill to a void refinement realm cultivator for no reason. The reason why old Demon Fusang was so polite to him was probably because he heard about Ning Fan's monstrous baleful qi from Tang Xiong. After that, when he saw that Ning Fan had really killed 2 tree kings and returned, he started to respect him and treated him as a peer. Moreover, he had something to ask of him. Ning Fan could not figure out old Demon Fusang's thoughts. Thus, he avoided the topic of baleful qi and said with a smile, Senior, you don't look too good. As soon as he heard Ning Fan's words, old Demon Fusang's expression suddenly changed. Then, he revealed a bitter smile. Fellow Taoist, you have a good eyesight. I'm sure you can tell that I don't have long to live. That's why I have something to ask of you. I can't help you with this matter. Life and death are determined by fate. It can't be forced. Ning Fan shook his head and said. This is not what I'm asking for. Old Demon Fusang originally did not plan to ask Ning Fan for help with this matter. However, when he heard Ning Fan say, life and death are determined by fate, he still felt a little sad and sorrowful. Qing Dai wore a puzzled look. She did not know what the two of them were talking about. Tang Xiong, on the other hand, knew what the two of them were talking about. However, he did not interrupt them. Oh. I wonder what Senior Fusang wants my help with. If it's within my capabilities, I can help you. Ning Fan was greatly surprised. He could tell that old Demon Fusang was already a person who was on the verge of death. The reason why he was on the verge of death was because his lifespan had reached its end. Old Demon Fusang's bone age had already exceeded 110,000 years. It had long surpassed the upper limit of a void fragmentation realm cultivator's bone age. 100,000 years ago, old Demon Fusang was already a void pierce stage cultivator. 100,000 years later, he was already at the end of his lifespan. However, his cultivation base was still at the first heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. He no longer had the chance to become an immortal in this lifetime. At first, Ning Fan thought that what old Demon Fusang wanted was related to extending his lifespan. That was why he said that he could not help him. Obviously, old Demon Fusang had already consumed all the heavenly ingredients and earthly treasures that could extend his lifespan. His lifespan could no longer be prolonged. According to Ning Fan's estimation, old Demon Fusang would definitely die after 10 years. Since old Demon Fusang did not want to extend his lifespan, Ning Fan wondered what he wanted. Sigh. The thing that I want is not a difficult thing for fellow Taoist. Moreover, it will be quite beneficial to fellow Taoist. Tang Xiong, go to the treasure vault and take out fellow Taoist Lu's reward. Old Demon Fusang asked Tang Xiong to take out the reward halfway through his sentence. It was obvious that he wanted to send Tang Xiong away. He did not want Tang Xiong to hear what he wanted to say after that. Ning Fan understood his intention and smiled at Qing Dai. You go back to the palace first. I have something to discuss with Senior Fusang here. Qing Dai was not stupid. She knew that the matter that the two of them were talking about must be extremely important. She nodded obediently and returned to the palace on the ground alone. However, before she left, she secretly transmitted her voice to Ning Fan and reminded him. Be careful. Don't anger Senior Fusang. Qing Dai was worried that Ning Fan would be too arrogant and say something that would anger old Demon Fusang and get hurt by him. After all, when Ning Fan was competing for the mission, he acted like an emperor and did not allow anyone to take away his mission. It left a bad impression on Qing Dai. In Qing Dai's impression, Ning Fan sometimes liked to stir up trouble. Ning Fan could not help but chuckle and shake his head. He did not expect that Qing Dai would care about him and worry that he would be hurt by old Demon Fusang. To be honest, when Ning Fan first saw old Demon Fusang, he was not afraid of him at all even though he was a void fragmentation realm cultivator. Old Demon Fusang only had 10 years of lifespan left. If he dares to attack Ning Fan would only need to use the mutual death technique and sacrifice 100 years of his lifespan to take away all the remaining lifespan of old Demon Fusang, killing him on the spot. His safety was not a problem. What he was more concerned about was what old Demon Fusang wanted to say next. I have a request and I hope fellow Taoist can agree to it. After the unrelated people left, old Demon Fusang suddenly cupped his fists and pleaded to Ning Fan seriously. In his entire life, he had been unscrupulous and killed people like scything flax. He had never asked anyone for help. If it was not related to the rise and fall of the Fusang clan, he would never lower his head to a junior. Senior, tell me about your request first. Ning Fan naturally would not agree to it without understanding the ins and outs of the matter. Old Demon Fusang sighed deeply and said with a bitter smile, fellow Taoist, how many years do you think I can live? 10 years at most. That's right. I only have 10 years left. After 10 years, I will definitely die. This is fate and it cannot be forced. I'm not afraid of death. I'm just afraid that after I die, the Fusang clan will gradually decline. Senior, you must be joking. Even after you pass away, the Fusang clan will still be a large clan in the tree world. Fellow Daoist Tang Xiong is the current clan leader of the Fusang clan. He is a dignified absolute void stage cultivator. How can a clan that has an absolute void stage cultivator decline? Ning Fan shook his head disapprovingly. The reason why the Ming Luo clan declined was because all the void refinement realm cultivators in the clan died during the calamity 10,000 years ago. The Fusang clan had an absolute void stage cultivator. Even if their void fragmentation realm old ancestor passes away, they would still be a large clan in the tree world. How could they decline? Fellow Daoist, you might not know this. Do you know what is my identity in the bamboo palace of the Eastern Tree Sea? I heard that Senior is one of the 8 elders of the bamboo forest in the Eastern Tree Sea. You're the 8th elder of the bamboo palace. Ning Fan answered. That's right. I'm the 8th elder of the bamboo palace. I'm a subordinate of the bamboo sovereign. The branch of the bamboo palace that I'm in charge of is called the Evil Bamboo Palace. My lifespan is coming to an end. Before I die, I want to recommend you to the bamboo sovereign and let you become the 8th elder of the bamboo palace. What do you think? Senior, you must be joking. The elders of the bamboo palace are all void fragmentation realm cultivators. How can I become one of the 8 elders of the bamboo forest? Just as Ning Fan was about to decline the offer, he was interrupted by old demon Fusang. I heard that fellow Daoist is purchasing the divine tree fruits. I suppose it's to improve your intent realm cultivation base. Old demon Fusang suddenly changed the topic. Oh. Senior's information network is really fast. Ning Fan was stunned for a moment and then understood. Whatever he had bought in Bai City, he would not be able to hide it from old demon Fusang. Fellow Daoist Lu, may I ask what grade your intent realm is at? If the last 7 grades are enough, this old man won't say anything more. If fellow Daoist is pursuing 2nd grade or even 1st grade, then you must consider this old man's suggestion. I intend to recommend you as the 8th elder of the bamboo hall. If fellow Daoist can really pass the Bamboo Emperor's test and become the 8th elder of the Bamboo Palace, fellow Daoist will receive a great benefit. Becoming the 8th elder of the Bamboo Palace, you will receive many rewards, including 10 ancestral tree fruits. My Eastern Forest Sea is rich in tree god fruit. The tree god fruit has the medicinal effect of raising one's intent level, but it can only raise a cultivator's intent level to the 3rd grade. After one's concepts reach the 3rd grade, consuming the tree god fruit is useless. Only by consuming the tree ancestor fruit can one increase their concepts cultivation. If fellow Daoist's comprehension realm reaches the 3rd grade, then after eating 10 ancestral tree fruits, your comprehension realm will break through to the 2nd grade. Ning Fan's expression was as calm as still water, but his heart was slightly moved. The tree ancestor fruit. If he wants to break through to the 1st grade of rain intent, this item is definitely a must. However, must he become the 8th elder of the bamboo palace in order to obtain the tree ancestor fruit? Chapter 574. At first, Ning Fan was moved. Then, his eyes gradually calmed down as if nothing had happened. With old demon Fu Sang's sharp eyes, he naturally noticed the subtle changes in Ning Fan's expression. He shook his head and sighed. Fellow Daoist, are you unwilling to be the 8th elder of the bamboo hall? Why? May I ask Senior Fusang, why are you so insistent on making me the 8th elder of the bamboo palace? Ning Fan did not answer his question but asked a question instead. Old monster Fusang sighed and explained. Fellow Daoist should know that this old man is the 8th elder of bamboo palace. I will die of old age in 10 years. Naturally, this 8th elder will have to be replaced. According to the rules of Bamboo Palace, the successor of an elder needs to be recommended by all the elders. After that, an assessment will be set up among the candidates and one of them will be chosen. To be honest, fellow Taoist, other than recommending fellow Taoist to take over the position of the 8th elder, I have also recommended 2 other people. Both of them are at the origin returning Great Void Realm and have a good relationship with the Fusang clan. I didn't recommend Tang Xiong even though he is a Great Void cultivator. That's because an ordinary Great Void stage cultivator would never be able to fight for the position of the 8th elder. I heard that your baleful aura was astonishing, so I guessed that your abilities were definitely not weak. Then, I heard that you killed 2 Guiyuan Great Void stage cultivators by yourself and completed the 5 stars mission. I immediately decided to give the last recommendation spot to you. Normally, only Void Fragmentation Realm cultivators could complete a 5-star mission. Fellow Taoist, there's no doubt about your strength since you were able to complete the 5-star mission and kill Guiyuan Taishu by yourself. Fellow Taoist, do you know how great the benefits of becoming the 8th elder are? Back then, when I became the 8th elder, I was only a Guiyuan Taishu. After I became the 8th elder, I received the full support of the Bamboo Hall. 1,000 years later, I successfully broke through to the Void Fragmentation Realm. With fellow Taoists' innate potential, if you succeed the position of the 8th elder, you will certainly receive the Bamboo Sovereign's full nurturing. In less than a few thousand years, you will certainly become another Void Fragmentation Realm expert. With such great benefits, why aren't you willing to succeed as the 8th elder? Ning Fan did not say a word. He just shook his head and chuckled. Old Demon Fu Sang was puzzled. After a while, Ning Fan suddenly retracted his smile and said solemnly, "The reason why Senior wants me to inherit the position of the 8th elder is exactly the reason why I am unwilling to do so." Old Monster Fusang was stunned and smiled bitterly. Among the candidates recommended by the other elders this time, one of them is only a step away from breaking through to the Void Fragmentation Realm. He is known as the number 1 expert below the Void Fragmentation Realm, in the Eastern Tree Sea. This person has the highest possibility of winning the position of the 8th elder. He is the patriarch of the Baili clan. Our Fu Sang clan and the Baili clan have a feud that will never end until one of us dies. Old Monster Fusang did not say anything else. Obviously, the reason why Old Demon Fu Sang hoped that Ning Fan would seize the position of the 8th elder was because he did not want the position to be taken away by the clan leader of the Baili clan. If clan leader Baili becomes the new 8th elder of the Bamboo Palace, he would certainly be able to attain the Void Fragmentation Realm one day. The day when the Baili clan gives birth to a Void Fragmentation Realm expert would be the day when the Fusang clan declines. The 2 clans had a feud that would never end until one of them perished. At that time, the Fusang clan would certainly do their best to suppress the Fusang clan. Old Monster Fusang was not far from death. He did not care about his own life and death. He only hoped that his family would not decline after his death. It would be fine if the candidate he recommended did not manage to obtain the position of an elder, but if he did, he would definitely offend the Baili clan. It was fine if he offended the Baili clan. After all, the current Baili clan had yet to have a Void Fragmentation Realm expert. However, one must know that the elder who recommended the clan leader of the Baili clan to become an elder must have a close relationship with the Baili clan. Offending the Baili clan would also mean offending a Void Fragmentation Realm elder whose cultivation base was unknown. The reason why Ning Fan was unwilling to get involved in the matters of the Fusang clan was just because he did not want to get into trouble. The position of the 8th elder could not tempt him because he would not stay in the tree world for too long. The Bamboo Palace's wholehearted nurturing was not attractive to him at all. As for one of the benefits of becoming the 8th elder, the ancestral tree fruit. Since this fruit was given to the new 8th elder by the Bamboo Palace, it naturally belonged to the Bamboo Palace. There must be a lot of ancestral tree fruits in the Bamboo Palace. With Ning Fan's means, he would definitely have a way to trade with the Bamboo Palace and get some ancestral tree fruits. There was no need for him to get into trouble and become the 8th elder. Ning Fan did not make it clear, but Old Demon Fu Sang had already guessed his intention. Forget it. Since fellow Taoist is unwilling to get involved in this trouble, just pretend that I have never mentioned this. I will give the third recommendation to Tang Xiong so that he can compete for the position of the eighth elder. As for the result, it will all depend on the heaven's will. It cannot be forced. Old demon Fu Sang could not help but sigh. With his identity, it was already very rare for him to make a request to Ning Fan. If Ning Fan insisted on not following his request, he would not force him nor pester him. After all, he was a dignified void fragmentation realm old monster. He had his own dignity. Old demon Fu Sang's lips moved but no sound was heard. He transmitted a few words to someone far away. After 10 breaths, Tang Xiong came out from the treasure vault with a storage pouch in his hand. Obviously, he only dared to come out after receiving the message from the two of them. These are 10 Ming Luo puppets and 20 billion immortal jade. They are fellow Daoists' reward for completing the task. Why don't you check them and see if there are any mistakes? There is also a jade slip in the storage pouch. It is the jade slip of the realm passage to the realm gate of the Valley of Tang. You can use this jade slip to open the realm gate. Ning Fan took the storage pouch from Tang Xiong's hand and scanned it with his spirit sense. After confirming that there were no mistakes, he cupped his fists towards old demon Fu Sang and Tang Xiong. Farewell. Ning Fan turned around and was about to leave, but he was stopped by old demon Fu Sang. Fellow Daoist, please wait. What is it? I have some things here that I want to give to fellow Daoist. I want to form a good relationship with you. These things should be of some help to fellow Daoist. Old demon Fu Sang handed Ning Fan a storage pouch. Ning Fan scanned it with his spirit sense and found out that there were 10 billion immortal jade, 1,000 tree god fruits and the maps of the 3 seas of trees in the east, south and west. Other than that, there were also many rare spiritual ores and spiritual wood in the storage pouch. All of them were items that could be used to forge and repair puppets. Ning Fan fell into deep thought. It seems like old demon Fu Sang had investigated him thoroughly. From the things he bought in Bai City, he guessed that he wanted to repair his spiritual puppets. Indeed, the things that old demon Fu Sang gave Ning Fan were what he needed. Ning Fan also knew what it meant to accept this storage pouch. Fine. I will accept these things. If the Fusang clan is in trouble in the future, I will certainly lend a hand if it's within my capabilities. As soon as Ning Fan finished speaking, he kept the storage pouch and bid farewell with his fists cupped. Accepting this storage pouch meant that he had accepted old demon Fu Sang's goodwill. With Ning Fan's personality, he would not accept someone's kindness for no reason. If he sees that the Fusang clan is in trouble in the future, it would be unavoidable for him to lend a hand. Old demon Fu Sang had a very accurate grasp of Ning Fan's personality. Seeing that Ning Fan had seen through his intentions and even made a promise to him, old demon Fu Sang wore a gratified expression. However, after Ning Fan left, he let out a long sigh. Old ancestor, why did you sigh? Tang Xiong asked in confusion. It's a pity. This Liu Bei has hidden his strength very well. If this kid accepts this old man's recommendation and obtains this old man's help, the chance of him seizing the position of the 8th elder will definitely not be small. Although he didn't reveal a trace of killing intent from the beginning to the end, this old man could still sense a trace of extreme danger from him. In front of him, this old man actually had an absurd illusion. If this kid had a disagreement with me just now, this kid would have the ability to kill this old man instantly. This feeling is so absurd, but it feels so real. What? This Liu Bei actually has a way to kill old ancestor instantly? This. Tang Xiong knew that old ancestor was never lying. Perhaps Ning Fan really had a way to kill old demon Fu Sang instantly. If this is really the case, isn't Ning Fan a little too scary? Ning Fan returned to the royal palace. With a flick of his sleeve, he displayed the void teleportation technique and disappeared from Bai City with Qing Dai. He traveled all the way to the east, passing through the Valley of Tang and headed towards the border of Gomang country, the realm gate of the Valley of Tang. Ning Fan did not regret rejecting old demon Fu Sang's suggestion. He had his own matters to attend to. It was impossible for him to get involved in other people's troubles. It was already his limit to lend a helping hand when the Fu Sang clan was in trouble. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, Ning Fan stopped and landed outside the realm gate of the Valley of Tang. This was the border between the northern forest sea and the eastern forest sea. A dark purple wall of light separated the two great forests from the middle. The bottom of the wall of light reached the netherworld underground and the top of the dome of heaven. It did not leave any gap for people to pass through. That dark purple light was the realm-breaking light. Even rogue immortals would only end up dead if they accidentally enter the realm-breaking light. On the wall of light was a 10,000 zhang tall door. The door was equipped with layers of restrictive formations. The formations themselves were not powerful, but they were closely connected to the realm-breaking light. Once someone trespasses the door, they would be attacked by the realm-breaking light. Those who are below the immortal realm will certainly die. Ning Fan took out the storage pouch that he had obtained from the mission and took out the realm passage's rain world. Then, he transferred 20 billion immortal jade to the storage pouch hanging on his waist. There were only 10 Void Glimpse stage Ming Luo puppets left in this storage pouch. They were refined from the corpses of 10 Void Refinement Realm old ancestors of the Ming Luo clan 10,000 years ago. Ning Fan passed the storage pouch to Qing Dai without saying anything. Qing Dai received the storage pouch. After taking a glance at it, her face immediately lit up with surprise. She said to Ning Fan gratefully, "Thank you, you're welcome. If I have something to ask of you in the future, just don't refuse me." Ning Fan said with a smile. Qing Dai nodded and replied, "Let's go." Ning Fan pressed the jade slip on the path of Broken World. A ray of purple light suddenly flew out from the slip and went into the giant door. The giant door shook violently and a small gap was opened. The ground trembled violently, raising a large amount of smoke and dust. At the moment when a small gap appeared on the giant door, Ning Fan flicked his sleeve. Together with Qing Dai, they turned into traces of smoke and drifted into the realm gate. As the traveling light faded, the two of them landed on a dark purple path of light. It was the realm gate that led to the Eastern Tree Sea. After the two of them entered the realm gate, the giant door slowly closed. Follow this realm gate all the way. There is a teleportation formation at the end of the realm gate. It can teleport you to the boundary of the Eastern Tree Sea. It was not Qing Dai's first time passing through the realm gate. You go first. I still have something to deal with. Ning Fan suddenly halted his footsteps. With a frown, he stopped walking on the realm gate. You have something to deal with? Then hurry up. I will wait for you at the Eastern Tree Sea. Qing Dai was stunned. She did not know what Ning Fan meant. Her eyes were filled with confusion. She continued to walk forward and entered the teleportation formation at the end of the realm gate. After Qing Dai left, Ning Fan suddenly turned around and his cold eyes swept across the area behind him. Are you still not going to come out? Do all the members of the Vine Sovereign like to hide like this? As soon as Ning Fan spoke, a disdainful laughter resounded in the empty place. Hiding the head and showing the tail. You're just a void inquiry stage cultivator. Do you think you're worthy of me hiding and scheming against you? I just don't want to kill you on the realm gate. Amidst the laughter, a lady with waist-length hair and pink robes appeared on the realm gate. Her eyes were beautiful, but they were filled with cold killing intent. There was a pink sword pouch tied around her waist. Her body was surrounded by traces of sword intent. The sword intent intertwined with each other like vines and grew endlessly. It was the pure vine with sword intent. Her aura force was like the heavens. The void where she stood trembled slightly. She was a sword cultivator at the first heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. I am the palace lord of the Vine Sovereign's Purple Vine Palace. Teng Xianro. Today, I came here to kill you. Liu Bei, die. A sword cultivator, or a woman? Ning Fan's lips curled into a mocking smile. He had already expected that the subordinates of the Vine Sovereign would not let him go so easily. He was afraid that they would ambush him at the 6 great realm gates. However, he did not expect that he would be ambushed by a Void Fragmentation Realm female sword cultivator. How was this an ambush? It was clearly a huge gift. A Void Fragmentation Realm cauldron that was delivered to his doorstep. Chapter 575. There were a total of 6 realm gates at the border of the Northern Forest Sea and the Eastern Forest Sea. Outside the first realm gate, a pink sound-transmitting sword light suddenly came to the side of a towering ancient tree. With a flash of brilliance, the ancient tree turned into a Void Fragmentation Realm cultivator who had the appearance of a big-headed boy. The big-headed boy was slightly surprised. He pointed at the flying sword and said to himself, Ting Xianrou's voice transmission. After listening to the sound transmission, the big-headed boy sneered, Ting Xianrou has taken advantage of him. That Liu Bei will definitely die after colliding with Ting Xianrou. There is no need to wait. Outside the second realm gate, a tray ant covered in leaves also received a voice transmission flying sword. He fell into Ting Xianrou's hands. Unfortunately, this great merit was picked up by Ting Xianrou. At the 4th, 5th, and 6th realm gates, the 6 origin returning Great Void Realm cultivators all received the message flying swords. They either had expressions of joy or regret. All of them turned into streaks of light and left the realm gate, not waiting any longer. There's no need to wait. Since Liu Bei has fallen into the hands of Palace Master Xianrou, it's impossible for him to survive. He will definitely die in the 3rd realm gate. There's no need for us to wait in vain again. West Tree Sea, Vine King Hall. A stern-looking middle-aged man clad in rattan armor sat on a throne with a pink voice transmission flying sword in his hand. Has that Liu Bei fallen into the hands of Xianrou? Xianrou is the only female Void Fragmentation Realm cultivator under my command. Even though she is a woman, her abilities are not any weaker than a man's. Her sword techniques are especially powerful. She was bestowed the surname Teng by me. With her around, Liu Bei will definitely die. The 3rd realm gate, the realm gate of the Valley of Tang, on the realm path. The corners of Ning Fan's mouth curled upwards and he stared at Ting Xianrou mockingly. If the ones who ambushed him were other Void Fragmentation Realm experts or Void Pierce Stage experts at the Origin Returning Realm or Void Pierce Stage, Ning Fan would have a tough battle. However, it just so happened that the person who came was a beautiful female sword cultivator, and she was purely here to die. The mockery in Ning Fan's eyes was not concealed at all. When Ting Xianrou saw that expression, it immediately turned into a trace of anger. What did she see? She actually saw a trace of contempt in Ning Fan's eyes. Ning Fan was just a Void Inquiry Stage junior. He actually looked down on her, a Void Fragmentation Realm sword cultivator. Wasn't he being too arrogant? That's right. If he wasn't an extremely arrogant person, how would he dare to kill the Vine Sovereign's disciple? However, when she thought about it, she thought to herself, could Ning Fan be trying to provoke her on purpose? Because he knew that he was no match for a Void Fragmentation Realm cultivator, he purposely infuriated her and tried to find a chance to escape while she was angry. Don't try to provoke me. That will only make your death worse. Ting Xianrou elegantly raised one of her hands and pointed her finger at Ning Fan. Her wood elemental demonic power spread out, turning into millions of green sword lights and slashed at Ning Fan. This was just a casual attack from her, but it was enough to kill an ordinary Grand Virtual Realm expert. She did not think that Ning Fan would be able to block her attack at all. Thus, she raised her neck proudly, waiting for Ning Fan to die under the million sword lights. MOMO, Ning Fan looked at the sword light that was coming towards him. He did not try to dodge it. Instead, he just smiled and called out the name of a little girl. Ting Xianrou was stunned. She did not know what kind of strange incantation Ning Fan was chanting. In the next moment, an ancient sword was swept across the realm path, and the millions of sword lights that she had slashed out collapsed without warning. Strong winds swept across the realm path, causing Ning Fan's black hair and white robes to flutter. He still looked calm and composed, as if he had broken all of Ting Xianrou's sword lights without even making a move. Little Fan Fan, don't be afraid. Second sister will help you beat her up. The arrogant voice of the second sword spirit came from the sword pouch. Of course, it was a telepathic message. Only Ning Fan could hear it. Her ability specialized in breaking people's sword lights. Her opponent was just a first heavenly layer void fragmentation realm sword cultivator. There was no need for her to be afraid of him at all. How is this possible? Ting Xianrou was completely stunned. Her beautiful eyes were filled with disbelief. If Ning Fan had used some kind of ability to break her sword technique, she would have accepted it. After all, it was just a sword light that she casually threw out. If Ning Fan uses all of his means, it would not be surprising for him to be able to block it. However, Ting Xianrou believed her own eyes. She did not see wrongly. Ning Fan did not move from the beginning to the end. He just used his sword will to break her sword light. Strange. This is really strange. A Void Inquiry Stage Junior was able to break her sword light just by chanting a strange incantation without even moving his body. Wait. A strange incantation? Ting Xianrou's beautiful eyes turned solemn. She seemed to have recalled something. She was a rogue cultivator. Her innate talent in the Tao of Sword was astonishing. She had killed countless people in her life. With the sword in her hand, she gained the recognition of the Vine Sovereign and was appointed as the Palace Lord of the Purple Vine Palace. She read a lot of books. She would read all the ancient books that were related to sword techniques. She would even read the strange stories that mortals used to entertain themselves. As long as it was related to sword techniques, she would also read it. Those strange stories were just idle books among idle books, and had nothing to do with cultivation. However, Ting Xianrou firmly believed that any ordinary and simple things contained the most mysterious sword principles. Comprehending by analogy would instead help to improve one's Tao of Sword. She had once flipped through a strange book written by a mortal. It mentioned a mysterious swordsmanship called the Sword of Speech. The so-called Sword of Speech was an immortal technique of an immortal that was conceived by a mortal scholar. Immortals would use their words as swords, and their words would be like swords that could slay all living beings. Ting Xianrou originally did not believe that there was such a sword technique called Sword of Speech in this world. Now that she saw Ning Fan chanting a strange incantation and suddenly emitting a terrifying sword intent, she immediately had a guess. Humph. Junior. What you are using is the Sword of Speech technique, isn't it? She thought that she had seen through Ning Fan's divine ability. However, she did not expect that her words would make Ning Fan dumbfounded. Sword of Speech. What is that? Humph. You don't have to pretend anymore. I have already seen through all of your divine abilities. It's just a mere sword of speech. It's not worth mentioning at all. You use words as a sword. Let's see whether your sword of speech is faster or my purple vine sword is faster. Chi. Ting Xianrou patted her sword pouch and a purple wooden sword that was made from purple vines appeared in her hand. Wooden swords were not as sharp as metal swords. However, they were better than metal swords in other areas such as divine abilities and sword intent. What Yun Tianjue was good at was a sharp sword technique that could destroy 10,000 enemies with a single sword. As for Ting Xianrou, what she was good at was a sword technique that could transform all living things. Purple Vine Sword Formation, Divine Snake. Ting Xianrou performed a hand seal with her left hand and held the sword with her right hand. She pointed the tip of the sword at Ning Fan and her sword intent spread out like clouds. All of a sudden, the passage of the world trembled violently and a gigantic purple sword diagram appeared. Countless purple vines suddenly grew out of the passage beneath Ning Fan's feet. The vines coiled like snakes and the vines were as sharp as swords. Countless purple vines intertwined with each other, forming a cage of purple vines that was several hundred zhang around Ning Fan. Those purple vines were unusually sharp. They were formed from the purest sword qi. Even a great void stage cultivator would be injured upon coming into contact with them. A moment of carelessness could even cause one to directly die in the sword formation. In the cage of purple vines, countless purple vines suddenly transformed into purple sword snakes. In this narrow space where it was difficult to even turn one's body, Ning Fan had no way to dodge the attacks from the countless sword snakes. Of course, he did not plan to dodge them either. Hua Hua. He calmly called out the name of the fourth sword spirit. Inside the sword pouch, Hua Hua, who was dressed in red robes, immediately released her unique sword intent. The sword intent that was filled with vicissitudes spread out. The countless sword snakes immediately trembled and collapsed. The purple vine's cage immediately withered. A moment later, it turned into ashes and dissipated. As for the gigantic sword diagram beneath Ning Fan's feet, it shattered into countless fragments of the formation diagram under Hua Hua's sword intent. How is this possible? Ting Xianrou's face was filled with astonishment. If her first attack was just a casual attack from Ning Fan and it was broken by his sword of words, she could still accept it. However, during her second attack, even though she did not use her strongest trump card, she was definitely serious about it. The advantage of this purple vine's sword formation lay in the fact that it was extremely fast to form. Under unexpected circumstances, it could even kill a great void stage cultivator in an instant. Even a first heavenly layer void fragmentation realm cultivator would inevitably suffer severe injuries if he is careless and gets trapped in the formation. This purple vine's sword formation had also been broken by a few void fragmentation realm experts before. However, all of them had to leave the range of the sword diagram before the formation was formed. No one was as relaxed as Ning Fan. He stood leisurely in the sword formation and used the most direct and forceful method to directly break the entire purple vine's sword diagram. What a powerful sword of words! At this moment, Ting Xianrou paid unprecedented attention to Ning Fan. She almost regarded him as the strongest sword cultivator she has ever met in her life. Even though this young man is just a void inquiry stage expert, his attainments in the sword of words have already reached perfection. I can only kill him by using my trump card. Fortunately, I met this young man and I can see through his sword of words technique. Perhaps I still have a chance of winning. If it's someone else who doesn't know his sword of words technique, they would probably die without a burial place in just a single exchange. Humph. This Liu Bei is really unlucky to have met me. Only I, a sword cultivator, have the chance to break his sword of words. The more Ting Xianrou thought about it, the worse her situation became. If Ning Fan could hear her inner thoughts, he would certainly not know whether to laugh or cry. He did not use any ability at all, nor did he use his sword of words technique. He was just ordering the 5 swords to attack Ting Xianrou. That was all. He just wanted Ting Xianrou to keep attacking until her demon power is almost depleted. Then, he would rush forward and use his bewitching technique to eliminate her. The 5 sword spirits were bullying Ting Xianrou's identity as a sword cultivator while Ning Fan was bullying Ting Xianrou's identity as a woman. If they fight face to face, Ning Fan was definitely not a match for a void fragmentation realm cultivator. He could only rely on Luo Yu's strength to fight Ting Xianrou. However, he would certainly be severely injured after the battle. That was not worth it. Obviously, it would be safer to borrow the strength of the 5 sword spirits. Liu Bei, I have to admit that you are very strong. There aren't many sword cultivators in the tree world, but you are a rare sword cultivator genius. You can even use the sword of words technique. To be honest, I actually feel a little reluctant to kill you. However, you have angered the Vine Sovereign. If I don't kill you, she will kill me. If you die, you don't have to hate me. If you want to hate someone, you should hate the Vine Sovereign. This ancient sword is the strongest flying sword that the Vine Sovereign has given me. It was accidentally lost in the tree world by a rogue immortal sword cultivator who was roaming the 9 worlds hundreds of thousands of years ago. This sword is called Emperor Xia's sword. It is a mid-grade immortal void realm flying sword. Normally, only a 3rd heavenly layer void fragmentation realm cultivator can use a flying sword of this level. Only a third heavenly layer void fragmentation realm cultivator can withstand a strike from this sword. Even if a cultivator at the second heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm is hit by this sword, he will either die or be severely injured. Ting Xianro kept the wisteria sword and patted her sword pouch, taking out a thin golden sword in her hand. The appearance of this flying sword was obviously different from ordinary flying swords. The blade of the sword was very narrow and the body of the sword was engraved with the mark of a dragon, giving off the majesty of a sovereign being. Obviously, the rogue immortal who used this sword in the past must be a sovereign being. Ting Xianro looked at Ning Fan with a complicated expression. Then, she gritted her teeth and performed a hand seal with her fingers. Her face gradually turned pale. Obviously, using the flying sword that was at a higher cultivation level than her had drained a lot of her demon power. Gradually, she began to feel weak. In order to activate this sword, she had nearly used up 90% of her demon power. As soon as this flying sword appears, even a cultivator at the second heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm would be in mortal danger. Liu Bei, don't be my enemy in your next life. Quick! As Ting Xianro pointed her finger, the Emperor Xia's sword turned into an incomparable golden sword light and shot towards Ning Fan. The sword light of the flying sword was too fast. It was even faster than the speed of a second heavenly layer void fragmentation realm cultivator. If Ning Fan relied on his own techniques, he would not be able to escape from it at all. He took a deep look at Ting Xianro. This lady was definitely an expert sword cultivator. Even in the tree world where sword cultivators were rare, she could still cultivate to such a level. If this lady was in the sword world, she might have already become the sword sovereign of a generation. Unfortunately, this talented sword cultivator had unfortunately bumped into Ning Fan. Was it her misfortune or her fortune? Tong Tong. As soon as Ning Fan muttered the name of the fifth sword spirit, the little stutterer Tong Tong immediately released her sword intent, which was filled with vicissitudes of life. Under this sword intent, the golden flying sword, which was initially unstoppable, immediately trembled violently and fell from the sky. Unfortunately, Tong Tong did not manage to shatter this flying sword. It was probably because the grade of this flying sword was too high. However, Tong Tong's sword intent specialized in restraining flying swords. Even though she did not destroy the flying sword directly, she sealed it, preventing it from moving at all. How is this possible? Ting Xianro revealed a terrified expression for the first time. She could not imagine that Emperor Xia's sword, which could even injure a cultivator at the second heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm, was actually blocked by Ning Fan's sword word technique. What a terrifying sword word technique! It could even block Emperor Xia's sword. Doesn't this mean that Ning Fan could fight against a cultivator at the third heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm with just his sword word technique? This young man is certainly not a void inquiry stage cultivator. He must be an old monster at the second heavenly layer or even the third heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm who is hiding his cultivation base on purpose. Yes, that must be the case. If he isn't an old monster at the second or third heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm, who would dare to offend the Vine Sovereign? I'm not a match for him. This is bad. I must escape. Ting Xianro gritted her teeth and wanted to escape. However, she realized that the realm gate which she came from had already been closed. She could not return to the northern tree sea. Her only way to escape was to pass through the realm gate and enter the eastern tree sea. However, the way to the eastern tree sea was blocked by Ning Fan. If she wants to escape, she would still need to fight him. Just as she was hesitating, she suddenly saw Ning Fan summoning a cloak and vanishing on the spot. Ting Xianro knew that Ning Fan must have concealed himself with the help of a spiritual equipment. However, this spiritual equipment was a profound divinity spiritual equipment. Even with her spirit sense, it would be difficult for her to detect Ning Fan's traces in a short period of time. She had no idea where he was hiding at all. She forced herself to calm down. She did not even dare to pick up Emperor Xia's sword. All of a sudden, her body exploded into 17 rays of sword light and flew towards the teleportation formation of the Eastern Trees Sea at the same time. This technique was called 17 Broken Swords. In essence, it was a type of incarnation technique. When her broken body turned into 17 rays of sword light, Ting Xianrou would not be harmed even if all the other sword lights were destroyed. She split into 17 rays of sword light to escape. As long as one of them was not destroyed, Ting Xianrou would not be harmed even if all the other sword lights were destroyed. Mo, it's still you. Ning Fan ordered the second sword spirit to attack again. Mo was extremely happy. It was already her second time attacking. It could be considered as her second contribution. Jingjing and Shui did not attack at all. After all, Ting Xianrou did not use her sword force and sword intent. She could not break them even if she wanted to. Mo proudly spread out her sword intent, covering the entire world passage. At the same moment, the 17 sword lights that Ting Xianrou had transformed into shattered at the same time, turning back into the pink-clothed woman. She fell heavily on the world passage with blood seeping from the corner of her mouth. Her injuries were not light. Not good. She had just fallen to the ground, so her demonic energy was in a mess and she couldn't circulate it at all. At this time, Ning Fan's invisibility suddenly appeared beside her. His left hand was using the Yin plucking finger while his right hand was using the Yin imprisoning rope. They struck her body at the same time. In an instant, Ting Xianrou's delicate body went limp, and she lost all of her beast power. This is charm spell. Ting Xianrou's face turned pale with fright. She did not expect that Ning Fan was not only proficient in the sword speech technique but also the bewitching technique. Wait, charm. If Ning Fan is proficient in bewitching techniques, doesn't it mean that he is also proficient in the plucking technique? Doesn't this mean that after I capture her, she will become a void fragmentation realm human cauldron full of primordial yin? Liu Bei, I didn't expect that I would fall into your hands. Your sword of speech art is divine. I've lost. Give me a quick death, kill me. If I kill you, wouldn't I be wasting a human cauldron for nothing? Ning Fan's expression was indifferent. He continuously pointed his Yin plucking finger. With his current cultivation base, even a void fragmentation realm female cultivator would not be able to withstand his Yin plucking finger. Ting Xianrou's vision turned blurry. She was tricked by the 5 sword spirits. This lady is quite interesting. Ning Fan could not help but laugh. He did not expect to capture Ting Xianrou so easily. The 5 sword spirits could only blame themselves for being the nemesis of sword cultivators. After setting up layers of restrictive spells on Ting Xianrou's body, Ning Fan locked her up in the Cauldron World's Penance Palace. The Penance Palace had been modified. The female cultivators who were locked up in the palace would fall into a coma for a long time. With the level of the small kiliacosm in the Cauldron World, even a void fragmentation realm female cultivator would end up in a coma after being locked up in the Penance Palace. Since he had captured this lady, he would either keep her as a helper or pluck her completely. Either way, she would be useful to him. After dealing with the lady, Ning Fan waved his hand and summoned Emperor Xia's sword which had fallen to the ground into his hand. He caressed the dragon-shaped engravings on the body of the sword and a strange feeling rose in his heart. He kept having the feeling that this Emperor Xia's sword gave him a strange sense of familiarity. However, he had no idea why it felt so familiar. It's a little strange. However, I have to say that this is a good sword. It can even severely injure a second heavenly layer void fragmentation realm cultivator. Unfortunately, I am far from being able to activate this sword. Ning Fan sighed. Little Fan, if you don't want this flying sword, just give it to us. We don't have any flying swords that can accommodate the body of a sword spirit. Jingjing suggested. Little Fan, I have already helped you twice. Why don't you give me some rewards? Mo said coyly. Little Fan, I want this sword. I want it. I want it. Shui was acting cute. Little Fan Fan, I will help you to comprehend the sword techniques in this sword. How about that? Hua Hua tried to make a profit. Want. 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 Tong Tong stuttered. She decided to only say the most crucial word. Oh. You guys want this Emperor Xia's sword? Ning Fan's eyes suddenly moved. This sword was useless to him anyway. Let's just let the 5 sword spirits play with it. If they can really create something useful, it would be worth looking forward to. With a flash of traveling light, Ning Fan went straight to the other end of the passage. Unbeknownst to him, the moment he captured Ting Xianro, the Vine Sovereign could no longer use the Vine Seed to sense her whereabouts. Ting Xianro has been captured. She has been captured by Liu Bei. The Vine Sovereign was enraged. Besides feeling furious, she also found it unbelievable. She could not imagine how a mere Void Inquiry Stage Junior could capture Ting Xianro, who was at the first heavenly layer of the Void Fragmentation Realm. She suddenly felt that she had somewhat underestimated Ning Fan in the past. Tell Wan Changkong to come and see me. The Vine Sovereign's eyes flashed with killing intent. Chapter 576. Ning Fan walked to the end of the realm passage. There was a teleportation formation which was emitting purple light. As soon as he stepped into the teleportation formation, the scenery in front of him immediately changed. After a few breaths of time, a ray of purple light flashed in the sky above a sea of trees in the eastern forest sea. Then, Ning Fan's figure emerged. Qing Dai was waiting for Ning Fan on the peak of a mountain not far away. Seeing Ning Fan's arrival, he immediately went forward to greet him. Brother Liu, are you alright? Did something happen in the world passage? Qing Dai changed the way she addressed him and asked with concern. After spending a few days together, the relationship between her and Ning Fan had become much closer. They were no longer as distant as they were in the beginning. This concerned greeting came from the bottom of his heart. It's just a small matter. It's already been resolved. Ning Fan gave Qing Dai a reassuring look. Then, he took out the map of the Eastern Tree Sea from his storage pouch and sent his spirit sense into it. He knew that this was the country of Dragon Capture, and there was a Dragon Capture Realm Gate that was connected to the Valley of Tang Realm Gate. Starting from the country of Dragon Capture and heading northeast, after passing through 42 cultivation countries, one would arrive at the void-level cultivation country where the Underworld Tree Clan resided, the country of Cold Azure. In the past, the largest tree clan in Cold Azure Kingdom was the Nether Civ clan. But now, the Nether Civ clan was only a second-rate force. In the past, when my Nether Luo clan was at its peak, we dominated the Cold Azure country and controlled the tree world. We made friends with all the experts in the world, but we also offended many tree clans. Now, our clan has declined and no one cares about our old friends. Cultivators from other clans often come to bully us. When our clan was at its peak, none of the cultivators in the world could compete with us. Now that we've fallen, we can't even protect the remains of our ancestors. Qing Dai's bright eyes dimmed and she seemed a little sad. Don't worry. With me here, the Underworld Raja clan won't be bullied and humiliated again. Ning Fan patted his storage pouch and took out a palm-sized green boat. As soon as he pointed it at the sky, the small boat grew in the wind and instantly turned into a huge azure ship. The name of this boat was the Azure Heavenly Boat. It was made from the Azure Heavenly Wood. It was a mid-grade mortal void evasion treasure. It was powered by a formation and immortal jade. Its maximum speed was infinitely close to the Void Pierce stage. The Azure Sky Arc was also equipped with 12 Void Spirit Cannons. As long as one spent some immortal jade, each of the Void Spirit Cannons could fire a Void Inquiry stage attack. When 12 cannons were fired at the same time, even a Void Pierce stage expert would have to retreat. There was also a peak Mortal Void Realm formation light installed on the ship. When the formation light was fully activated, it could even withstand the attacks of Absolute Void Realm cultivators. I stole this boat from the vast glacial city, and I'll give it to you today. You can steer it and take me to the glacial nation. My primordial spirit is injured, so it's not good for me to show myself. I need to recuperate. For me. Qing Dai's face turned red. Clearly, she did not expect that Ning Fan would give her such an expensive gift. This heavenly azure boat was an extremely valuable escape treasure. When it was sold in Moon Cold City, it was sold for 5 billion immortal jades. She had been to Moon City before and had seen this sky azure boat. At that time, she was very tempted and wanted to buy this boat, but she had no choice but to give up when she saw the price. Even if she spent all her wealth, she still couldn't afford it. She didn't expect that Ning Fan would give her such a precious azure sky boat so casually. These immortal jades are for you. Every time we pass by a cultivation country, head to the biggest trading city of that country and buy all of the tree god fruits there. I have great use for these fruits. If you come across any of the puppet materials recorded in this jade slip, buy them. Ning Fan then took out a storage pouch that was filled with immortal jades and a jade slip that recorded the cultivation materials and handed them to Qing Dai. Qing Dai knew that Ning Fan would be busy with recuperating during the journey to the glacial nation and would not show himself. Ning Fan asked her to buy the tree god fruits and puppet materials. Of course, she would not reject such a small matter. She scanned the jade slip with her spirit sense and carefully read the puppet materials recorded in it. Gradually, her eyes filled with astonishment. Her puppet mastery was very good. She could naturally tell that these materials were extremely rare and precious. Most of them were used to repair high-level spiritual puppets. Especially the last 12 materials, which were the most precious. They were definitely not the materials used to repair Void Refinement Realm spiritual puppets. Those were the precious materials that would only be used to repair Void Fragmentation Realm spiritual puppets. Each of them was extremely expensive. Big Brother Lu, are you buying these materials to repair Void Fragmentation Realm spiritual puppets? Although she was shocked, she did not ask further. She then scanned the storage pouch that Ning Fan gave her with her spirit sense. When she saw the number of immortal jades inside, she immediately covered her mouth and exclaimed. So many immortal jades. There were a total of 120 billion immortal jades inside the storage pouch. Some of them were obtained by Ning Fan from the Rain Palace. Some of them were the rewards from the mission and the rest were obtained from Ting Xianrou's storage pouch. As for the largest portion, it was naturally obtained from robbing 100,000 cultivation shops in the vast cold city. The vast cold city was a trading city that was jointly managed by more than 10 Void Refinement Realm forces in the Northern Tree Sea. Robbing a city would naturally bring him a huge harvest. There are so many immortal jades. I don't dare to take them. Qing Dai gently bit her lips. She had never seen so many immortal jades in her life. Even a Void Fragmentation Realm old monster might not have so many immortal jades. These immortal jades are not for you. Why are you so nervous? You are going to help me buy the tree god fruits and puppet materials. I'm sure the cost will be huge. Even though there are a lot of immortal jades here, it might not be enough. Alright, let's go. Ning Fan's figure flashed and arrived on the azure sky ship. He entered the palace inside the cabin to meditate. Qing Dai kept the storage pouch and the jade slip. Her thoughts were a little complicated and she could not explain it clearly. Ning Fan giving her so much money was a sign of his trust in her. In a flash, she arrived on the azure sky ship. After placing enough immortal jades in the flying formation, she performed a hand seal and activated the azure sky ship to fly towards the vast cold country. Of course, according to Ning Fan's order, she had to fly to the biggest trading city in the dragon-holding country first to purchase the items that Ning Fan needed. The traveling light of the azure sky ship was like a painting that was painted in the sky. It drew a line in the sky and dyed the vast sky blue. While it was flying, the body of the ship was emitting a continuous drizzle. Along the way, it actually started to drizzle. Azure and misty rain. It was a very beautiful traveling light. Ning Fan entered the palace inside the cabin and consumed a pill to meditate. According to his estimation, if the Azure Sky ship flew at full speed, it would take them at most 7 days to pass through 42 cultivation countries and arrive at the vast cold country. Adding the time that Qing Dai needed to stop the ship to buy items along the way, it would take them at most half a month to arrive at the vast cold country. Under normal circumstances, half a month was not enough to fully heal the injuries of one's primordial spirit. However, now that Ning Fan had a void fragmentation realm cauldron in his hand, it was not difficult for him to fully recover. With my current cultivation base, plucking a first heavenly layer void fragmentation realm cauldron won't be a problem. If I pluck all of Ting Xianrou's cultivation base, not only will my primordial spirit recover, but I can also increase my magic power by 1 million units, 1 million units of magic power. Currently, I am only 800,000 units of magic power away from the Void Pierce stage. If I have an extra 1 million units of magic power, I'm afraid that I will directly face the Void Pierce stage heavenly tribulation. Now that my spiritual puppet has yet to be repaired, I am not ready to face the tribulation yet. This is a little troublesome. Ning Fan's eyes were filled with contemplation. 1 hour later, his body was filled with magic power. With a sway of his body, he entered the cauldron world. After the hard work of the female guards, a huge city with complete facilities was built in the cauldron world. Some of the female guards were cultivating in formations while others were learning pill refinement and weapon refinement techniques. They had already gotten used to the peaceful life in the cauldron world. There were no disputes and they cultivated peacefully. As soon as they saw Ning Fan, Bing Ling and Yu Ling immediately welcomed him. They followed Ning Fan's order and brought him to the Palace of Repentance. It was a huge palace made of white jade. The outside of the palace was filled with bewitching formations while the inside of the palace was filled with red mist. The red mist was exactly the same as the red mist in the heavenly dwelling of the Cauldron Ring. The sisters waited outside the palace while Ning Fan entered the Palace of Repentance alone. This palace was only used to imprison cauldrons that were difficult to subdue, such as Old Ancestor Bai Tong of the Giant Devil clan, the red-haired lady who had the body of a flowered devil and Ting Xianrou who had a void fragmentation realm cultivation base that was difficult to control. Ning Fan stepped into the third palace that was shrouded in red mist. In the main hall, Ting Xianrou who was dressed in pink was sleeping on the jade couch. The power of the Yin plucking finger was flowing inside her body. Her delicate body was tied up by the Yin imprisoning rope and she was breathing in the red mist in the hall. She could not wake up at all. Ning Fan slowly walked to the jade couch and carefully observed Ting Xianrou's sleeping face. Ting Xianrou was dressed in a pink dress with flowing mist. Her long black hair was combed into a bun and there was a pink lotus hairpin on one side of her head. Her sleeping face was calm. She had faint eyebrows and long eyelashes. However, her face was a little pale. She probably had yet to recover from the injuries she suffered during the battle in the Realm Passage. Even so, her beauty was still indescribably beautiful. When she is sleeping peacefully, perhaps no one would treat her as the Palace Lord of the Purple Vine Palace who had killed countless people. Ning Fan's eyes darkened and he remained silent. To be honest, he did not have any ill feelings towards this lady. If it wasn't for this lady who chased after him, he would not have to capture her. Since they were enemies, after he captured this woman, she would be his cauldron. There was no doubt about that. Ning Fan wanted to use this lady to heal his injuries. However, he was not willing to pluck her for the time being. He was afraid that he would trigger the Void Pierce stage heavenly tribulation in advance after he obtains 1 million units of magic power. Since that's the case, I can only choose a compromise. He raised his finger and gently touched the top of Ting Xianrou's head. He wanted to confirm one thing. Only by confirming this could he use the method that would satisfy both sides. After he carefully examined her body, his eyes gradually revealed a satisfied look and he said indifferently. This lady's sea of consciousness is also in the shape of a sword. She possesses sword consciousness and sword sense. In that case, I can perform dual cultivation of my sea of consciousness with her. Dual sea of consciousness cultivation was a profound plucking technique recorded in the Yin-Yang transformation. The prerequisite for this technique was that the plucker and the one being plucked had the same special sea of consciousness. If one didn't cultivate a special sea of consciousness, one couldn't use this technique. If the two people dual cultivating have different sea of consciousness, they can't use this technique. Ning Fan cultivated the sword consciousness and sword sense, while Ting Xianro was a pure sword cultivator who also cultivated the sword consciousness and sword sense. With this premise, Ning Fan could pluck Ting Xianro's sword sense through dual cultivation in his sea of consciousness. This kind of plucking technique did not require the user to harvest magic power. Naturally, it would not trigger the void pierce stage heavenly tribulation. Ting Xianro was a void fragmentation realm cultivator. If he dual cultivates with her in his sea of consciousness, his spirit sense would certainly skyrocket. To him, who had the psyche soul incarnation, the improvement of his divine will was a great improvement in his strength. If Ting Xianro did not pluck her cultivation base and only plucked her spirit sense, she would still be a void fragmentation realm cultivator. If he manages to subdue him, he would have another void fragmentation realm fighter by his side. Now that his spiritual puppet had yet to be repaired, it was always good to have a void fragmentation realm helper by his side. After weighing the pros and cons, dual cultivation in his sea of consciousness was naturally more beneficial than plucking her directly. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with determination. He pointed a finger at Ting Xianro, who was in deep sleep. He did not untie the Yin imprisoning rope. He just slightly dispersed some of the Yin plucking finger's power. Ting Xianro let out a soft moan and slowly woke up. She had just woken up and was still a little dazed. The first thing she saw when she woke up was Ning Fan, who was standing beside the jade couch. All of a sudden, Ting Xianro felt as if a bucket of cold water was poured on her head. Her eyes swept across the ambiguous jade couch. Her charming face was filled with anger and even a hint of panic. Liu Bei. You. What do you want to do to me? You are my human cauldron. Tell me, what do you think I will do to you? Ning Fan said with a faint smile. You can't pluck me. Ting Xianro was a little scared. In her impression, Ning Fan's sort of speech technique was too powerful and she was no match for him. Now, she was under the effect of the bewitching technique, which was too powerful, causing her to be unable to mobilize any of her demon power. Currently, she was as weak as a mortal. She could not go against Ning Fan at all. If Ning Fan plucked her, she would not be able to resist and her void fragmentation realm would be forcefully plucked. That was the void fragmentation realm that she had painstakingly cultivated for many years. How could she bear to lose it? From Ning Fan's point of view, plucking her was a matter of course. She was the one who chased after Ning Fan first. Since they were enemies, there was no need to be merciful. She suddenly regretted. If she did not participate in the hunt for Ning Fan, she would not have fallen into such a desperate situation. Her regret and fear fell into Ning Fan's eyes. Ning Fan's eyes darkened and he suddenly said, I can give you two choices. You might as well consider it. What choices? Ting Xianro was startled. The first choice, I will pluck your cultivation base. Before Ning Fan could finish his words, he saw Ting Xianro's pleading expression. Don't pluck me. Ning Fan ignored her and continued speaking. The second choice, I have a special plucking technique. I can complete the dual cultivation of your sea of consciousness by entangling it with your sea of consciousness. This plan will not taint your innocence or destroy your primordial yin. What I'm plucking is your sword sense. This technique will only succeed if you actively cooperate with me. Once the plucking is successful, your sword sense will certainly collapse and your special sea of consciousness will disappear. As for me, my spirit sense will skyrocket. Which of the two choices will you choose? As soon as Ning Fan finished speaking, he did not say anything else. He calmly waited for Ting Xianro's reply. Ting Xianro's eyes showed signs of struggle. If she chooses the first option, her cultivation base will be completely plucked by Ning Fan and she will certainly fall to the void fragmentation realm. If she chooses the second option, the sword sense that she had painstakingly cultivated will collapse and she will lose her special sea of consciousness. Both of the choices would cause her harm. However, after weighing the pros and cons, losing her sword sense was naturally a lesser price than losing her void fragmentation realm cultivation base. If she loses her void fragmentation realm cultivation base, she would be considered as crippled for the rest of her life. If she loses her sword sense, she would still be a void fragmentation realm cultivator. I choose the second option. Ting Xianrou gritted her teeth and said. The second option, huh? Very good. Since you have made this choice, you have no choice but to accept my other condition. I want to plant a restriction on you and control your life and death. I will take you as my slave. From then on, you will follow me to battle and I will preserve your void fragmentation realm cultivation base. This request is not too much, right? What? You want to plant a restriction on me and take me as your slave? Ting Xianrou was enraged. However, she clenched her teeth and forcefully suppressed her anger. She was a dignified void fragmentation realm old monster who could run amok in the tree world. How could she be willing to let Ning Fan control her life and death? If she allows Ning Fan to plant a restriction on her, she would become Ning Fan's slave and fighter from today onwards. She would no longer be able to disobey any of his orders. However, if she does not accept Ning Fan's condition, she would certainly not have a good ending. She was like a fish on Ning Fan's chopping block. There was no way she could disobey Ning Fan's orders at all. She was hesitating and hesitating. At that moment, she would rather commit suicide than become Ning Fan's slave. Ning Fan saw Ting Xianrou's expression. He thought to himself, this woman does have some backbone. I shouldn't force her too much. As a matter of fact, Ning Fan had already decided to dual cultivate with Ting Xianrou in his sea of consciousness and take her as his fighter. The reason why he gave Ting Xianrou two options and added another condition after she chose the second option was actually to attack her mind step by step. To attack her mind, other than coercion, he also needed to tempt her with benefits. Ning Fan could not blindly coerce her. 500 years. You will be my slave for 500 years. After 500 years, I will return you your freedom. Is what you said true? You will really return my freedom after 500 years? Ting Xianrou was astonished. She had never thought that she would still have the hope of regaining her freedom after falling into Ning Fan's hands. She was naturally unwilling to be Ning Fan's slave. However, if it's just 500 years, she could still consider it. She could regain her freedom after enduring 500 years of humiliation. Compared to that, committing suicide was obviously not worth it at all. Ting Xianrou weighed the pros and cons repeatedly in her mind. She became more and more tempted. Losing her sword consciousness and 500 years of freedom. She could regain her new life after 500 years. If what you said is true, I am willing to let you plant a restriction on me and become your slave for 500 years. Ting Xianrou finally made her decision. She knew that once she made this decision, her life and death would be tied together with Ning Fan's. From today onwards, she was no longer the palace lord of the Purple Vine Palace. From today onwards, she would turn against the Vine Sovereign. She might even join forces with Ning Fan to rebel against the Vine Sovereign. However, she had no other choice but to accept Ning Fan's condition. However, you must make a great heart devil oath and swear that you will return my freedom after 500 years. Otherwise, I won't be able to believe you. Ting Xianrou added. I don't have the habit of making oaths. You can also choose not to believe me. Ning Fan's tone carried a hint of teasing. You. Ting Xianrou clenched her teeth. She was in a disadvantageous position. She did not have any bargaining chips to make Ning Fan swear. No matter how she thought about it, she could only choose to believe Ning Fan. She could only pray that Ning Fan would return her freedom after 500 years. If Ning Fan goes against his promise, she could only accept her fate. Fine. I'll do whatever you say. Plant the restriction on me. Ting Xianro gritted her teeth and closed her eyes, looking like she was resigned to her fate. Ning Fan nodded his head and pointed at the top of Ting Xianro's head, planting the Fuli demon restriction on her. It was Ning Fan's strongest restriction. To a demon cultivator like Ting Xianro, its control was even stronger. When Ting Xianro sensed the terrifying demon restriction in her sea of consciousness, she was extremely shocked. She had never seen anyone with such a powerful demon restriction. What kind of demon race is this Liu Bei exactly? What level is his demon blood? Why is the demon restriction he used so powerful? After planting the demon restriction, Ning Fan waved his hand and removed the Yin imprisoning rope on Ting Xianro's body, dispersing the Yin plucking finger force in her body. Ting Xianro's demon power gradually recovered. She propped herself up and sat on the jade couch, tidying her messy hair. Then, she sighed softly and closed her eyes. She activated her demon power and erased the vine seed in her body. After erasing the vine seed, the vine sovereign would no longer be able to detect her whereabouts. This meant that from this moment on, she had officially betrayed the vine sovereign. She no longer had a way out. Alright. Let's proceed with the dual cultivation of your sea of consciousness. I will try my best to cooperate with you. Ting Xianro closed her eyes and raised her head, looking like she was going to the execution ground. She had never heard of a cultivation method like dual cultivation of the sea of consciousness. From Ning Fan's words, dual cultivation of the sea of consciousness would only touch each other's sea of consciousness. There would not be any physical entanglement. Even though she understood this, she still felt a little nervous. Deep in her heart, she was very disgusted with dual cultivation. However, she did not dare to show it as she was afraid of arousing Ning Fan's dissatisfaction. Ning Fan got on the jade couch and sat opposite to Ting Xianro with his legs crossed. Then, he held Ting Xianro's soft palm with both of his hands. The cold and smooth touch did not feel like the hands of a sword cultivator at all. Instead, it felt like the hands of a young lady who had never done any chores. Your hands are well maintained. Ning Fan teased. You. Ting Xianro opened her eyes and glared at Ning Fan in embarrassment and anger. She wished she could skin him alive and eat him alive. However, when Ning Fan held her hand, traces of numbness rose in her heart. It was as if ants were crawling on her skin, causing her mind to be in a mess. After cultivating the Tao for 20,000 years, this was the first time a man held her hand. Her anger subsided slightly. It was the first time she carefully observed Ning Fan's appearance. She had never been interested in a man's appearance in the past. At this moment, however, she was slightly interested in Ning Fan's appearance. This Liu Bei looks not bad, she thought to herself. Then, she followed Ning Fan's instructions and slowly closed her eyes, spreading her spirit sense. Their sword senses were like two entangled water snakes, entangling each other tightly. A feeling of pleasure, comfort and shame that she had never felt before rose in Ting Xianro's heart. In the world of her mind, she and Ning Fan were naked. They were hugging each other and entangling with each other. It was the materialized image of their dual cultivation of the sea of consciousness. Ting Xianro wanted to cry but no tears came out. Her physical body was not occupied but her inner heart was completely tainted. What was the difference between this and being occupied directly? Just like that, she had dual cultivation with a man for the first time in her life. Chapter 577. This dual cultivation of the sea of consciousness lasted for a total of 10 days. 10 days later, Ning Fan left the cauldron world with Ting Xianro. With a sway of his body, he appeared in the cabin of the Azure Sky boat. At this moment, Ting Xianro was still wearing the same attire as before. However, her face was covered with a pink veil. It was enough to block the senses of cultivators below the void fragmentation realm, causing others to be unable to see her appearance clearly. Both of Ning Fan's eyes were filled with a vast sword intent. Through the dual cultivation in his sea of consciousness this time, he had completely seized the power of Ting Xianro's sword consciousness and kept it for his own use. The current Ning Fan's spirit sense had improved tremendously. It was far from what it was 10 days ago. Ting Xianro had painstakingly cultivated her sword consciousness and sword sense for tens of thousands of years. All of the power of her sword consciousness had become the cornerstone that strengthened Ning Fan's sea of consciousness. 10 days ago, Ning Fan's spirit sense was just at the ordinary absolute void stage. 10 days later, his spirit sense was infinitely close to the returning to great void stage. After this dual cultivation session, his yin-yang transformation cultivation technique naturally broke through to the second layer of the third layer. Although his magic power did not increase, his battle prowess had increased greatly. This dual cultivation of the sea of consciousness is a pretty good plucking technique. Ning Fan muttered to himself with a smile. Your divine sense has skyrocketed. For you, it's naturally not bad. Under Ting Xianro's veil, her pretty face was slightly embarrassed and angry. What she was ashamed of was that she had been having dual cultivation with Ning Fan's sea of consciousness for the past 10 days. He was angry because her sword awareness had collapsed and her sea of consciousness had returned to an ordinary sea of consciousness. After several tens of thousands of years of bitter cultivation, it only resulted in the rapid growth of his spirit sense. She naturally had a bellyful of complaints. Unfortunately, she was Ning Fan's slave now. She could only be angry but did not dare to say anything. Ro-air, calm down. You are a void fragmentation realm expert after all. How can you get angry so easily? Ning Fan teased. Ro-air. Can you not call me like this? I can't bear it. Ting Xianro gnashed her teeth. She did not like being called by Ning Fan in such an intimate manner. If I don't call you Ro-air, am I supposed to call you Ting Xianro? What if someone else hears this and finds out that the servant beside me is the dignified palace master Zideng? Fine, call me whatever you want. Ting Xianro knitted her brows. She really did not want others to know that she had become Ning Fan's slave. Seeing Ting Xianro admit defeat, Ning Fan nodded his head in satisfaction and walked out of the cabin. Ting Xianro immediately followed him with small steps. After 10 days of flying, the Azure Sky ship had passed 29 cultivation countries and was not far from the country of Cold Azure. At the bow of the Azure Heaven boat, Qing Dai was piloting the flying boat. As soon as she saw Ning Fan coming out of the cabin, she immediately asked with concern. Big Brother Lu, has the injury to your primordial spirit healed? Yes, my injuries have healed. Which country are you flying to now? Ning Fan asked. We're already at the Emerald Universe Nation. After flying through another 13 cultivation nations, we'll reach the frigid Azure Nation. This sister is. Qing Dai answered respectfully. At this moment, Ting Xianro also came out of the cabin, which was why Qing Dai asked this question. Ting Xianro deliberately revealed her void inquiry stage cultivation base to conceal her void fragmentation realm qi. Seeing that Ting Xianro was a void inquiry stage cultivator, Qing Dai addressed her as elder sister and her tone was very polite. My name is Qianro, I'm Liu Bei's friend. Ting Xianro said the word friend in a strange tone. Ning Fan had told her how to address Qing Dai in advance. As for Qianro's name, it was just a random fabrication. Oh, so it's elder sister Qianro. My name is Qing Dai. Ting Xianro felt rather speechless. She did not want to talk to Qing Dai anymore. When she thought of herself, a dignified void fragmentation realm old monster, addressing a void glimpse stage little girl as sister one day, she felt aggrieved. Seeing that Ting Xianro did not want to talk to her, Qing Dai obediently changed the topic. She took out a storage pouch and passed it to Ning Fan. Other than the tree god fruits, the storage pouch also contained cultivation materials. Big Brother Lu, I've spent 90 billion immortal jade that you gave me. I still have 30 billion left. I bought a total of 6,200 tree god fruits. As for the 12 types of cultivation materials, I've already bought all of them except for the 12 types of the rarest ones. 6,200 tree god fruits are enough. As for the 12 types of cultivation materials, all of them are extremely rare and precious. It's very normal that I didn't manage to buy them. Thank you for your hard work. Ning Fan received the storage pouch and kept it. Currently, his rain intent was already at the 4th grade. According to his estimation, he would need around 5,000 tree god fruits to break through to the 3rd grade. With the number of tree god fruits he had now, it was completely enough for his rain intent to break through to the 3rd grade. He learned from old demon Fu Sang that one would need to consume the tree ancestor fruit to advance from the 3rd grade to the 2nd grade and then from the 2nd grade to the 1st grade. The tree god fruits were no longer effective. Since that was the case, it was meaningless for him to buy more tree god fruits. The only thing he could do now was to find an opportunity to go to the bamboo palace. We'll reach Han Sung after going through 13 cultivation countries. I think we still have a few days to go. During these few days, you and Ro Air will buy the last 12 types of materials for the puppet. As for the tree god fruits, you don't have to buy them anymore. Ning Fan returned to the cabin alone, leaving Ting Xianro beside Qing Dai. He had already ordered Ting Xianro to accompany Qing Dai to buy the materials for the puppet. Naturally, Ting Xianro would not dare to disobey his order. As soon as he returned to the cabin, he went into the dark golden pagoda of the Yuanya world and entered seclusion to refine the tree god fruits. There were a total of 36 palaces on the 7th floor of the dark golden pagoda. Ning Fan pushed open one of the doors and entered a space with green mountains and clear waters. With a leap of light, he flew to the top of the mountain and released his rain intent. The entire space was immediately filled with a downpour of rain. The rain drenched his body. Cold chi seeped into his body. His heart gradually felt gloomy. How long more do I need to break through to the 1st grade rain intent? How long more do I need to find my mother? 1st grade rain intent. No matter how difficult it is, I must break through to the 1st grade rain intent. I will definitely find my mother in the vast sea of people with this technique. Ning Fan's eyes were blank. He patted his storage pouch and took out several tree god fruits, refining them into his body. The price of a tree god fruit was equivalent to a nascent soul realm Dao fruit. After swallowing 5,000 tree god fruits, the rain intent in Ning Fan's eyes became denser. A year on the 7th floor of the pagoda was just 3 days in the outside world. He stood in the rain for a year, as if he wanted to become one with the rain. His fingers moved back and forth to form the 2 styles of the rain art, Haotian rain and Yang Heaven rain. At first, the hand seals were extremely fast, but towards the end, they became slower and slower. When the hand seals became so slow that they almost stopped, Ning Fan formed the 3rd hand seal. It was the rain of the 3rd heaven, Scarlet Heaven rain. After he defeated the heavenly cloud realm that day, he tried to fuse the rain art together. However, he could not even fuse the 2 types of rain art together. At that time, his rain intent realm was at the 8th grade. Today, he was displaying 3 types of rain arts at the same time, but they showed signs of fusing easily. Because of this, Ning Fan's rain intent was already at the peak of the 4th grade rain intent. It was just a tiny bit away from breaking through to the 3rd grade rain intent. The 3rd grade rain intent can fuse with the 3 styles of the rain technique. As long as I break through to the 3rd grade rain intent, I will be able to fuse with the rain from the previous 3 days. Ning Fan had already consumed enough tree god fruits. All he needed now was an opportunity to break through to the 3rd grade rain intent. With a flash, he left the Yuanya world and appeared on the Azure Heavenly Arc in the outside world. 3 days had passed in the outside world. The Azure Heavenly Arc was already approaching the Azure Cold Country. Ning Fan walked out of the cabin step by step and felt the continuous rain intent on the arc. It was greatly beneficial for him to break through the bottleneck of the rain intent. The Azure Heavenly Arc had been drenched by the rain for thousands of times. Therefore, a trace of rain intent that could not be erased was left on it. This rain intent matched Ning Fan's current mood. He fell into a mysterious state of Dao comprehension. Qing Dai and Ting Xianro could tell that Ning Fan was comprehending something and they did not dare to disturb him. He looked at the distant azure cold country. He looked at the drifting clouds in the sky and the sea of pine trees that stretched across the land. He looked at the grand formation of the azure cold country and the cultivators who were coming and going. Eventually, his eyes fell on the azure heavenly Arkansas. His mouth was repeatedly chanting the heart chant of the heaven-peaking rain. There is rain in the 9 heavens. My thoughts are connected to this world. The clouds are my eyes and the rain is my thoughts. Outside the grand formation, cultivators of the azure cold country were coming and going. In front of the azure heavenly ark, there were 3 gigantic ships waiting for inspection to enter the azure cold country. The azure heavenly ark was right behind them. The 3 ships had the same clan insignia on them. It was a cedar tree insignia. All the cultivators on the ships belonged to the cedar clan of the azure cold country. Qing Dai stopped the azure heavenly ark from moving forward and ordered it to hover behind the 3 ships. Her eyes inadvertently glanced around. When she saw the insignia on the 3 ships, she was stunned at first. Then, her face revealed a hint of resentment. These are the 3-masted ships of the Cedar clan. The country of Cold Azure was a void-rank cultivation country, and the Snow Pine clan was one of the 12 clans of Cold Azure. Each of the 12 clans of the Azure Cold Country had a void refinement realm expert. All of them were first-rate forces of the Azure Cold Country. Among the 12 clans of Cold Azure, there were 4 tree clans that had a grudge with the Nether Civ clan, and the Snow Pine clan was one of them. Qing Dai still remembered that 1,000 years ago when she was still young, the Cedar clan had once bullied and humiliated the Nethernet clan. At that time, she was not the High Priestess yet. The High Priestess was her mother. At that time, her mother was about to succeed in the Void Glimpse stage. On that day, when the Snow Pine clan heard that the Ming Luo clan was about to give birth to a Void Glimpse stage expert, a group of experts cruelly appeared in the Ming Luo clan. That day, her mother was besieged by the experts of the Cedar clan and eventually died in the hands of the young patriarch of the Cedar clan. The cultivators of the Snow Pine clan would never allow a Void Refinement cultivator to be born in the Nethersift clan. They were very happy to see the decline of the Nether Civ clan. Qing Dai's eyes were filled with intense hatred. She clenched her fists so tightly that her long nails pierced into her palms, causing blood to gush out. She looked at the 3 cedar ships in front of her. Each of the 3 cedar ships was guarded by a Void Refinement realm expert. The young patriarch of the Cedar clan was standing on the bow of one of the ships. He was a silver-robed young man who gave off a cold evil chi. Above his left eye, there were 3 magnificent silver demon stars flashing. This silver-robed young man's name was Ao Chen. His cultivation level was unrivaled among Void Inquiry stage experts. At the moment, he was fiddling with the bloody head of a dead man. It was the head of a Void Inquiry stage cultivator. Hee hee. The patriarch of the Golden Oak clan is a Void Inquiry stage expert after all. To think that he couldn't even withstand a single blow. I haven't even attacked him and he is already dead. How disappointing. The demon power in Ao Chen's palm vibrated, shattering the dead man's head into a mist of blood. His eyes suddenly turned sideways and caught a glimpse of Qing Dai's heavenly azure ship. His arrogant eyes scanned across Ning Fan and Ting Xianro. When he saw that both of them revealed their Void Inquiry stage cultivation level, he did not think much of them. However, when his eyes caught sight of Qing Dai, killing intent flashed across his eyes. Oh! This lady in green robes seems to be a Ming Luo tree demon. Interesting. Since when did the Ming Luo clan produce another Void Glimpse stage expert? The Ming Luo clan. Hee hee. As long as my Snow Pine clan is still around, your Ming Luo clan will never be able to rise again. 4th Elder, 5th Elder, the 2 of you go and kill this lady. As for the 2 Void Inquiry stage cultivators on the ship, they seem to be helpers hired by this lady. Most likely, they also have a deep relationship with the Ming Luo clan. Just kill them as well. Ao Chen waved his hand disapprovingly. 2 Void Inquiry stage old men immediately flew up from the other 2 ships towards the heavenly azure ship. Their killing intent locked onto Qing Dai and the others. These two people were none other than the fourth and fifth elders of the Snow Pine clan. Both of their cultivation levels were already close to the unrivaled void inquiry stage. To them, killing void glimpse stage experts and ordinary void inquiry stage experts was as easy as squashing ants. Especially when it came to squashing ants from the Ming Luo clan, the two of them did not feel reluctant at all. The Ming Luo clan and the Snow Pine clan were mortal enemies. There was no need for any reason to kill the members of the Ming Luo clan. Outside the realm-locking Grand Formation, the cultivators who were in charge of inspecting the incoming cultivators were from the Qin Nan clan. The Qin Nan clan was also one of the 12 clans of the Cold Azure clan. Among this group of cultivators, the one with the highest cultivation level was a Void Pierce stage old man. He was the great elder of the Qin Nan clan and his name was Qin Shuangzi. Even though the Qin Nan clan did not have any grudges with the Ming Luo clan, they did not have any friendly relations with each other either. When Qin Shuangzi saw that the two Void Inquiry stage elders of the Snow Pine clan already had killing intent towards Qing Dai, he sighed softly. However, he did not intend to help her. The Snow Pine clan is too powerful. They have a total of 3 absolute Void Inquiry stage experts. It's not something our Qin Nan clan can afford to offend. It's not worthwhile for me to offend the Snow Pine clan for the sake of a little girl from the Ming Luo clan. The 4th and 5th elders of the Snow Pine clan are both cultivators who are close to the unrivaled Void Inquiry stage. With the two of them taking action, that little girl will certainly die. However, I wonder where the 2 Void Inquiry stage cultivators beside that little girl come from. Are they helpers hired from other cultivation countries? When the Ming Luo clan was at its peak, it had offended too many forces. The Snow Pine clan is one of them. With just 2 Void Inquiry stage experts, they are not a match for the Snow Pine clan. The Ming Luo clan has already declined and there's no possibility of it rising again. Qin Shuangzi closed his eyes indifferently. From his point of view, Qing Dai was just a Void Glimpse stage cultivator. She would certainly die in the hands of the 2 elders of the Snow Pine clan. Ting Xianrou's beautiful eyes turned grim. She did not care about the grudges between the Ming Luo clan and the Snow Pine clan at all. Moreover, she did not have the intention to help Qing Dai. However, the 2 elders of the Snow Pine clan had crossed the line. They actually locked their killing intent on her as well. They were simply tired of living. Who was she? She was the dignified palace Lord Ziteng. She was a void fragmentation realm old monster. She was already feeling very aggrieved after falling into Ning Fan's hands. Just when she was in a bad mood, these 2 Void Inquiry stage ants locked their killing intent on her. They were simply provoking her. She lifted one of her fingers. She had an impulse to activate 1 million sword rays with a single finger and eliminate these 2 Void Inquiry stage old men. Qing Dai's bright eyes were filled with extreme anger. The Snow Pine clan was too overbearing. Just because she was a member of the Ming Luo clan and a Void Refinement Realm cultivator, they could kill her without asking for a reason. It was just like how they killed her mother without asking for a reason in the past. The Snow Pine clan was too hateful. She formed a hand seal, preparing to activate the defensive Grand Formation of the Azure Sky ship to block the attacks of the 2 elders. After that, she would activate the 12 Void Spirit Cannons and kill these 2 Void Inquiry stage old men. It was impossible for her to be bullied by the Snow Pine clan every single time. Qing Dai and Ting Xianrou were enraged. They wanted to counterattack the 2 elders of the Snow Pine clan. However, before the 2 of them could make their moves, Ning Fan took a step forward and stood in front of them. His eyes were filled with confusion as he looked at the 2 elders who were flying towards him. His eyes were filled with boundless rain intent. That rain intent was just a tiny bit away from breaking through to the 3rd grade. That tiny bit of difference was like a tiny crack. After he comprehended it bit by bit, it had already closed up bit by bit. He lowered his head. He did not look at the 2 elders but at the Azure Sky ship beneath his feet. He raised his head. Instead of looking at the two elders, he stared at the cloudless sky. His eyes glowed with cloudy light. Under his gaze, the sky immediately darkened. Dark clouds covered the sky and a dense drizzle fell. At this moment, his rain intent had broken through the bottleneck of the third grade. After the rain intent reached the third grade, its power increased tremendously. It was even more powerful than some mortal void magic techniques. Third grade rain intent. At this moment, a heavenly green rain intent floated in Ning Fan's eyes. Die. The two elders of the Snow Pine sect were already very close to them. Each of them stretched out their hands and grabbed at Ning Fan and the other two. The two of them attacked at the same time. Immediately, two gigantic palms tens of thousands of feet long slammed towards the azure sky ship. The two of them were confident that their cultivation level was close to the unrivaled void inquiry stage. Thus, they did not put Ning Fan and the others in their eyes at all. At this moment, Ning Fan's eyes suddenly turned cold. There was no longer any expression on his face. He didn't need to know about the enmity between the Cedar tribe and the underworld Civ tribe. He wouldn't ask. He did not need to know the background of these two void inquiry stage old men. He would not ask. He only needed to know one thing, and that was that his opponent had made a move against him. He had the intent to kill. As such, he didn't need to show mercy to these two people. He raised his hand and pointed his finger down. This finger didn't use any magic power, just the endless rain of the third grade. Third grade rain intent. It was one grade higher than the Rain Emperor's rain intent. Rumor has it that the Rain Emperor could kill a void glimpse stage cultivator with just his fourth grade rain intent. At this moment, the endless rain intent that Ning Fan made with his finger could even melt a void inquiry stage cultivator. The rain of heaven and earth seemed to be listening to Ning Fan's summon as it rolled towards the palms that the two elders threw out. As the drizzle brushed past, the two gigantic palms suddenly trembled. In just an instant, they strangely melted into the rain and disappeared without a trace. The fourth and fifth elders were stunned at first. They did not know what Ning Fan had done to block their palms in such a strange way. At the next moment, the drizzle that filled the sky drenched their bodies. Both of them immediately wore an extremely shocked expression. It was as if all of their magic power was going to be melted in this drizzle. It was as if their lifetime's worth of Tao was going to be buried in this drizzle. It was as if their lifetime's worth of cultivation was going to be lost in this drizzle. Impossible. How can this person's intent realm be so powerful? He can break our abilities just by using the power of his intent realm. This rain intent can't be resisted by force. We must immediately avoid it. Both of them were greatly shocked and hurriedly retreated, trying to escape from the curtain of rain. However, the rain intent had already been planted in their bodies. They could neither escape nor erase it. Every time they took a step back, they would melt a little. After taking tens of steps back, their physical bodies trembled and turned into two puddles of blood in the vast sky. Then, they scattered along with the drizzle. This is the fourth grade rain intent? No, this is the third grade. Qin Shuangzi, who had been keeping her eyes closed all this while, suddenly opened her eyes in shock. As for the young lord of the Snow Song sect, Ao Chen, who was watching calmly from the side, his eyes were filled with astonishment. He had seen some cultivators who possessed the rain intent realm, but he had never seen someone with such a strong rain intent realm like Ning Fan. There were only a few cultivators who possessed the third grade intent realm in the entire tree world. Who exactly is this man? How did the Ming Luo clan manage to invite such a powerful helper? Chapter 578. Ning Fan glanced sideways at Ao Chen, the young patriarch of the Shui Song clan. His eyes were filled with shock. At this moment, Ning Fan's eyes did not have a trace of baleful qi. Instead, they were as calm as still water. That calm gaze made Ao Chen's monster soul feel a sharp pain, as if all of its cultivation was about to melt in that gaze. Ao Chen did not know who Ning Fan was. The Vine Sovereign's wanted order had yet to reach the Eastern Tree Sea. However, he could clearly feel that Ning Fan's combat power was extremely terrifying. It was definitely not something that he could defeat. He was a Void Inquiry Stage expert and Ning Fan was also a Void Inquiry Stage expert. However, the difference between their strength was like heaven and earth. Ao Chen had never felt such a strong sense of crisis even when he was facing the three great void ancestors of his race. He instinctively feared Ning Fan and nearly wanted to run for his life. But the pride of the Cedar clan made him unwilling to flee for his life. He, Ao Chen, was the dignified young clan leader of the Cedar clan while Ning Fan was just a helper hired by the Ming Luo clan of the Declining Tree clan. He did not believe that Ning Fan would dare to kill him. Your abilities are extraordinary, but you've killed two elders of my Cedar clan. You must give my Cedar clan an explanation for this matter. Otherwise, the three great void ancestors of our clan will come together. You will die no matter where you hide. Ao Chen forced himself to calm down as he stood at the bow of the ship amidst the drizzle. Then, he threatened the Azure Sky ship in the distance. Qin Shuangzi, who was guarding the Locking Realm Grand Formation, sighed inwardly. He thought to himself that Ning Fan had killed the two elders of Shui Song's sect without any hesitation and without asking about their background. Obviously, he was a devil lord who could do whatever he wanted. He would not be afraid of any threat or background at all. It was obvious that Ao Chen had already shed all pretense of cordiality with Ning Fan. Instead of running for his life as soon as possible, he dared to threaten Ning Fan here. He was just too stupid. If Ning Fan kills Ao Chen and flees 1,000 li away, he can just hide in a remote corner of the Eastern Tree Sea. Even if your Snow Pine clan has three old ancestors of the Great Void Stage, can they still find Ning Fan in the vast sea of people? This Ao Chen has a good aptitude, but his temperament is too bad. If he doesn't escape now, I'm afraid he won't have the chance to do so again. He'll die here for nothing. Just where did this kid come from? He's such a ruthless demon, and he even has a third-grade concept. Even though his cultivation base is only at the Void Inquiry stage, he is definitely not a nobody in the Eastern Tree Sea. Why have I never heard of him before? Qin Shuangzi pondered. As Qin Shuangzi had expected, Ning Fan turned a deaf ear to Ao Chen's threat. His gaze, which was filled with the intent of rain, swept across the three ships of the Snowpine tribe, and he suddenly took a step forward. His body was surrounded by the cool and warm third-grade rain intent. With a leap, he disappeared in the drizzle that filled the sky suddenly swept toward the three ships of the Cedar Pine race. The sky-blue rain intent spread out in the vast sky, as if it was being dyed by light ink. The rain was clearly extremely beautiful, but in the eyes of the cedar tree cultivators on the three ships, it was as if they had seen something terrifying. Countless cries of alarm came from the two ships that the fourth elder and the fifth elder were on. In the blink of an eye, they melted in the sky-blue rain, and the thousands of cultivators on the ships all turned into blood that sprayed into the sky. Not a single one escaped. Ao Chen hurriedly activated the ship's protective formation, temporarily blocking the melting rain from the sky. Looking at the sky-blue third-grade rain intent, his scalp also felt numb. His heart was filled with shock and disbelief. Ning Fan was actually not afraid of the reputation of the Cedar Pine clan and actually dared to directly kill him, the young clan leader of the Cedar Pine clan. He is truly a lawless devil lord. If it weren't for him who activated the protective formation light, he would certainly have ended up like the two Void Inquiry stage elders, losing his life in the rain intent. Isn't he afraid of being hunted down by the three absolute Void stage experts? Isn't he afraid of offending the 12 clans of the Azure Cold clan? No matter how foolish Ao Chen was, he knew that he must run for his life at this moment. Set sail quickly. I want to return to the Cedar Valley immediately and ask the three old ancestors of the Absolute Void stage to kill this man. In reality, Ao Chen did not even need to give the order. When the cultivators of the Cedar Pine clan on the ship saw that the other two ships were completely annihilated, their scalps went numb. All of them were terrified of Ning Fan to the core. They did not dare to stay at this place for even a moment longer. They immediately activated the ship and flew at its fastest speed, hoping to pass through the country-sealing Grand Formation and escape to the Cedar Valley of the Azure Cold Country as soon as possible. Ao Chin still knew how to run for his life at this moment. He was still not hopelessly stupid. Unfortunately, it was a little too late for him to think of running away now. Outside the country-sealing Grand Formation, Ning Fan slowly emerged amidst the light rain and wind. His entire body was surrounded by the azure rain intent. His eyes were indifferent as he stood in front of the ship. He would certainly not give it a chance to escape. He raised his hand and pointed at the ship. The vast azure rain intent swept towards the ship like a brush drawing in the sky. The formation light of the last cedar ship immediately dissolved in the rain. The hull of the ship began to melt. Each of the low-grade cultivators of the Cedar Pine clan melted into a pool of blood one after another. The azure rain intent turned into a huge hand and slammed down on Ao Chen. As the rain intent hit his face, Ao Chen felt that all of his demon power had melted under the rain intent. He could not summon any of his demon power at all. He wanted to fly away to avoid the attack of the rain intent, but he could not muster any strength. As soon as he moved, he was hit by the rain intent. At the moment he was hit by the palm, his body immediately turned into a pool of blood and melted under the attack of the third-grade rain intent. At this point, the 3 ships of the Cedar Pine clan were all annihilated by Ning Fan alone before they could enter the Azure Cold Country. With a flick of his sleeve, Ning Fan kept the rain intent and dispersed the drizzling rain. The sky cleared up again and a magnificent rainbow appeared in the vast sky. However, none of the cultivators of the Qin Nan clan who were guarding the Grand Formation had the mood to appreciate the rainbow. All of them had heavy hearts. Other than Qin Shuangzi, all the cultivators who were guarding the Grand Formation could not help but tremble. However, even Qin Shuangzi himself was filled with fear towards Ning Fan at this moment. There was even a hint of fear in him that he did not realize. Ning Fan returned to the Azure Sky boat. The 3 ships that were waiting to enter the country had all been destroyed. Naturally, it was the Azure Sky boat's turn to enter the country. Qin Shuangzi did not expect Ning Fan to still dare to enter the country after killing someone. It seemed like he was not afraid of the revenge of the Cedar Pine clan. He calmed himself down and led a few divine transformation realm cultivators of the Qin Nan clan to the sky. They landed on the Azure Sky boat and cupped their fists at Ning Fan and the others politely. The Qin Nan clan and the Nether Luo clan never had any grudges against each other. Thus, Qin Shuangzi was naturally not afraid that Ning Fan would kill him. Moreover, in Qin Shuangzi's eyes, Ning Fan was just a void inquiry stage cultivator after all, even though he was strong. His third-grade rain intent was indeed powerful. However, it was only enough to kill a void inquiry stage expert. If it were a void pierce stage expert, they would more or less have the means to withstand the attack of a third-grade rain intent. In Qin Shuangzi's eyes, Ning Fan, who possessed a third-grade rain intent, was probably strong enough to fight against a void pierce stage expert. Of course, he did not know how terrifying Ning Fan's strength was when he went all out. He could even fight against Ge Yuan Taishu. I am Qin Shuangzi, the great elder of the Qin Nan clan. I am in charge of guarding the Grand Formation of the country. Any cultivators who enter the country must go through my inspection. This old man would like to ask for your names and origins. Qin Shuangzi did not mention anything about the death of the cultivators of the Cedar Pine clan, as if he did not see it at all. Ning Fan secretly guessed that the Qin Nan clan should not have any grudges against the Ming Luo clan. After all, Qin Shuangzi had been watching from the side from the beginning to the end. He did not have the intention to get involved in the grudges between the Ming Luo clan and the Cedar Pine clan. I am the high priest of the Ming Luo clan. My name is Qing Dai. These 2 are friends of my clan. Qing Dai returned Qin Shuangzi's greeting. Her tone was polite, but she did not mention Ning Fan and Ting Xianrou's names and origins. She only said that they were friends of the Ming Luo clan. After all, Ning Fan was wanted by the Vine Sovereign. Qing Dai did not want to reveal Ning Fan's identity to avoid bringing more trouble to him. Seeing that Qing Dai did not mention the background of Ning Fan and the others, Qin Shuangzi did not ask too much. He asked a few more questions and let the Azure Sky vessel enter the country. From the beginning to the end, Qin Shuangzi had been treating himself as an outsider. He did not help either the Ming Luo clan or the Cedar Pine clan. However, at the moment when the Azure Sky vessel entered the territory of the country, Qin Shuangzi secretly transmitted his voice to Ning Fan and gave him a few pointers. You have killed 3 Void Refinement Realm experts of the Cedar Pine clan today. You have already offended the entire clan. Even though you are a Void Inquiry stage expert and your abilities are not weak, you are definitely not a match for the 3 Void Refinement Realm experts of the Cedar Pine clan. Among the 12 clans of the Blue Frost clan, the Weizi clan does not have any grudges with the Ming Luo clan, but they have a grudge against the Cedar Pine clan. If you are in trouble, you can seek help from the Weizi clan to resist the Cedar Pine clan. Based on the fact that you have killed 3 Void Refinement Realm experts of the Cedar Pine clan, I'm sure the Weizi clan will be very willing to befriend you. Qin Shuangzi's pointers were obviously to express his goodwill to Ning Fan. He was just giving Ning Fan a few pointers. There was no loss to him, but it might be of great help to Ning Fan. Naturally, Qin Shuangzi was very willing to form a good relationship with Ning Fan without paying any price. On the Azure Sky vessel, Ning Fan was slightly surprised when he heard Qin Shuangzi's voice transmission. However, he did not say anything. The Ming Luo clan was located in the eastern region of the Blue Frost country. The Azure Sky vessel flew towards the Ming Luo clan at full speed. Qing Dai returned the remaining 30 billion immortal jade to Ning Fan. During the 3 days when Ning Fan was comprehending the rain intent, she did not manage to purchase the remaining 12 types of Void Fragmentation Realm puppet materials. Her expression was slightly complicated. She wanted to say something but stopped herself. She looked at Ning Fan and recalled the kindness he had shown her in the Tang Valley that day. She gritted her teeth and suddenly said, "Big Brother Lu, are you in a hurry to use these puppet materials?" "I am quite in a hurry. You know that I am being chased by the Vine Sovereign. These materials are all used to repair my puppets. If they can be repaired, I will have more power to protect myself." Why are you asking this question? Perhaps I have a way to get these 12 types of Void Fragmentation Realm materials. As for how I am going to get them, please don't ask. Qing Dai gently bit her lips. She owed Ning Fan for saving her life. She always felt that she should repay him. Otherwise, she would feel uneasy. The materials that Ning Fan needed were too rare and precious. Even if she searched the entire Eastern Tree Sea, she might not be able to buy all of them. However, Qing Dai knew that there was a place where she might be able to find the materials needed to repair Void Fragmentation Realm puppets. She had a master. Even though the puppet technique that she practiced was the secret technique of the Ming Luo clan, she would not be able to comprehend such a profound puppet technique without her master's guidance and guidance. Her puppet technique could be ranked among the top 3 in the Eastern Tree Sea. However, compared to her master, it was far inferior. Perhaps, her master would have the 12 types of materials needed to repair Void Fragmentation Realm puppets. No, he definitely has them. She had once secretly seen that there were countless extremely rare and precious puppet materials in her master's treasure vault. However, her master had an eccentric personality. He never allowed her to reveal any information about herself. Therefore, she decided to look for her master secretly for Ning Fan's sake and ask for the materials needed to repair Void Fragmentation Realm puppets. However, she did not dare to tell Ning Fan about her master's existence as she was afraid of angering him. Big Brother Lu has saved my life and even helped me retrieve the corpses of the 10 Void Refinement Realm ancestors of the Ming Luo clan. No matter what, I must repay this kindness. Qing Dai did not know that Ning Fan's mind-reading technique had already seen through all of her thoughts. This little girl actually has a strange master. Well, it's no wonder. If she doesn't have a master to guide her, it's impossible for her to have such a profound puppet technique. Since Qing Dai is confident that she can help me find the materials needed to repair my puppets, I suppose my Jihua and Purple Lightning puppets can be completely repaired soon. Once they are repaired, I can start to face my tribulation and break through to the Void Pierce stage. The corner of Ning Fan's lips curled upwards. The Void Pierce stage was already not far away. In the main hall of the Cedar clan in the Cedar Valley of the northern region of the Azure Cold Country. The three old ancestors of the Great Void stage of the Cedar clan were staring at the jade slip in their hands. Their eyes were bloodshot and they were gnashing their teeth in anger. The Ming Luo clan is really audacious. I don't know where they got two Void Inquiry stage experts to help them. They actually dared to kill the people of our Cedar clan. They are just courting death. Quickly inform the old ancestors of the Stone Tree clan, Lei Bai clan and Divine Xiao clan. Tell them that the Ming Luo clan is tired of living. Even that lord cannot be biased towards them anymore. Our four clans can mobilize all of our clans to massacre the Ming Luo clan. Chapter 579. The heavenly azure ship sped all the way until it reached the thought-sifting bamboo sea in the eastern region of the Azure Cold Country. It was a boundless sea of bamboo. The air was filled with the fragrance of the Xiang Fei bamboo. The thought-sifting bamboo sea stretched for 4 million li. It was the land where the Ming Luo clan lived. No outsiders lived there. In ancient times, there was no sea of bamboo growing in this place. The native plants were cedar trees. However, after the disappearance of the last Ming Luo tree sovereign countless years ago, all the cedar trees in this place disappeared and were replaced by countless Xiang Fei bamboo. The Ming Luo clan declined generation after generation, but the Xiang Fei bamboo never withered. The bamboo palace, who had been ignoring the decline of the Ming Luo clan, suddenly gave a strange order in the thought-sifting bamboo sea. When the heavenly azure ship reached the periphery of the thought-sifting bamboo sea, Qing Dai suddenly stopped the ship and kept it into her storage pouch. Ning Fan sensed that there was a strong forbidden force above the thought-sifting bamboo sea. This forbidden force seemed to be aimed at escaping treasures and the escaping light of void fragmentation realm cultivators. It was really strange. Big Brother Lu, my Ming Luo clan lives in this thought-sifting bamboo sea. According to the Bamboo Palace's order, we can't use the heavenly azure ship when we arrive at the thought-sifting bamboo sea. Otherwise, it will be against the rules of the Bamboo Palace. The Bamboo Palace set up such a rule. Ning Fan was surprised. Then, he understood immediately. The forbidden force that filled the sky was most likely set up by the Bamboo Palace. Yes. After the disappearance of the last Ming Luo tree sovereign, the Ming Luo clan declined and this place began to be filled with Xiang Fei bamboo. After that, the Bamboo Palace set up a forbidden force in this thought-sifting bamboo sea and gave 3 orders. No cultivators are allowed to use large escaping treasures here. Void fragmentation realm cultivators are not allowed to enter the thought-sifting bamboo sea. Other than the Ming Luo clan, no other cultivators are allowed to cut down the Xiang Fei bamboo here. Don't you think these 3 orders are strange? Qing Dai smiled mischievously. These 3 orders are indeed very strange. It seems like the Bamboo Palace is protecting the Ming Luo clan, but it doesn't seem like it. That's right. The Bamboo Palace has never protected my Nether Luo clan. When my Nether Luo clan was bullied by other clans, no one had ever interfered. Xiang Feizhu is the divine bamboo of the Bamboo Palace. Perhaps the Bamboo Palace just wants to protect this sea of bamboo. Qing Dai smiled and didn't take it seriously. The Azure Sky ship was restricted by the Sky Restriction Power, so it could not fly into the thought-sifting bamboo sea. Among the 3 of them, Ning Fan's cultivation base was at the Void Inquiry stage while Qing Dai's cultivation base was at the Void Glimpse stage. Ting Xianro revealed her cultivation base to be at the Void Inquiry stage, but her true cultivation base was at the first heavenly layer of the Void Fragmentation realm. She was restricted by the restrictive force of this place and actually could not fly into the sea of thought-sifting bamboos. Liu Bei, I can't fly in. She knitted her brows and secretly transmitted her voice to Ning Fan. If she wanted to enter the sea of sifting bamboos, she would have to walk through the 4 million miles of bamboo forest, but she did not know how long it would take. Forget it, you can rest in the cauldron world first and guide the female guards in their cultivation. Ning Fan did not give Ting Xianro a chance to refuse. He directly activated his cauldron ring and kept her inside his cauldron world. Appearing in the cauldron world out of nowhere, Ting Xianro revealed an extremely dissatisfied expression. At the instant she appeared, Bing Ling, Yu Ling, and the other female guards immediately went up to greet her and called her big sister Qianro. This gold core female cultivator came over and tugged at her clothes, praising the immortal material used to make her clothes. The harmonious spirit female cultivator came over and touched her long hair, praising her for taking good care of it. Of course, there were also a lot of low-level female cultivators who came to ask her extremely low-level cultivation questions. Most of these questions were related to the bottlenecks of harmonious spirit and gold core cultivators. In Ting Xianro's eyes, they were idiotic questions that were not worth answering, but she had to answer them. Ning Fan had already told the female guards about how he had subdued Ting Xianro. Of course, what Ning Fan did not tell the female guard was that Ting Xianro was a void fragmentation old monster. The female guards didn't know Ting Xianro's cultivation, so they weren't afraid of her and were instead very enthusiastic. Ning Fan told them that if they had any questions regarding their cultivation, they could ask Ting Xianro because she knew everything. Ting Xianro had the urge to smash her head against tofu. She was a dignified void fragmentation realm old monster. Why should she answer the retarded questions of a group of low-level cultivators? Is the Jindan round or flat? She had crossed the Jindan realm many years ago. Gold core turned into nascent soul, and nascent soul turned into demon soul. She had long forgotten what a gold core looked like. Besides, anyone with common sense would know that the golden core was round. Who asked such an idiotic question? Harmonious spirit was so difficult. What if you don't want to? If you don't want to, why are you still cultivating? Go home and do some embroidery. Why are you acting cute here? How can I please my master? Wait, why are you asking me these idiotic questions? How would she know how to please Ning Fan? She was too lazy to please Ning Fan. Why should she please Ning Fan? Aggrieved, truly aggrieved. If it was in the past, she would have already slapped the harmonious spirit juniors away when they asked these idiotic questions. Unfortunately, she was now Ning Fan's slave. She had to suppress the displeasure in her heart and smile while answering the idiotic questions of the female guards. She felt that her pride as a void fragmentation cultivator was being worn away bit by bit. She felt that she had never felt so aggrieved in her 20,000 years of cultivation. She was shocked and thought, could it be that Ning Fan deliberately sent these low-level female cultivators to wear away my pride? He did it on purpose. Ting Xianro wished she could pinch Ning Fan into a ball and give him a good beating. However, when she recalled Ning Fan's harmless smile and thought that Ning Fan might have purposely sent the female guards to ask these idiotic questions to anger her, she gradually calmed down. She gritted her teeth and swallowed all her dissatisfaction. Then, she squeezed out an ambiguous smile and answered the idiotic questions of the female guards. Ning Fan wanted to anger her, but she was not angry. She could not let Ning Fan's plan succeed. 500 years. As long as I endure these 500 years, I will be free. Ting Xianro really misunderstood Ning Fan. The questions of these female guards were all original. They had nothing to do with Ning Fan. Some of these female guards were abducted from Yu country while some were obtained from the Endless Sea. After they followed Ning Fan, they no longer needed to fight with others. Their lives were very leisurely and ordinary. Their thoughts were very close to life, just like mortal women. Mortal women, after all, were always concerned with all sorts of problems. The reason why they asked these strange questions was because they had been living too leisurely in the past few decades. Inside the sea Luo Bamboo Sea, Ning Fan and Qing Dai were flying side by side. Their spirit sense was spreading far and wide, trying to sense the local conditions and customs of the sea Luo Bamboo Sea. Only the underworld Civ clan lived in this 4 million kilometer area. Other than the Nether Luo clan, there were actually countless mortals living here. These mortals coexisted harmoniously with the underworld net cultivators, and there was actually nothing wrong with it. The Nether Civ clan had already declined, and the remaining clansmen had experienced glory and disgrace. They were used to the fickleness of human nature in the cultivation world, so they didn't look down on mortals like other cultivation clans. Mortals also knew that there were immortal masters in this world. In their opinion, the underworld Sifting clan was the immortal of the Sifting Bamboo Sea. Beneath the dense sea of bamboo, one could occasionally see mortal villages. Between the bamboo fences and thatched cottages where mortals passed by, low-level Ming Luo tree demons could occasionally be seen chatting and brewing tea with mortal elders. Such a harmonious scene between immortals and mortals was simply unbelievable in the cultivation world. If the other cultivation clans saw the Nether Raja clan lowering their status to associate with mortals, they would definitely laugh endlessly. However, from Ning Fan's point of view, the actions of the Nether Luo clan were in line with the Great Tao. Immortals were people who stood on the mountain. If they were to descend from the Tao mountain, they would be no different from mortals. The reason why he protected the Nether Luo clan was because of the Ming Luo tree demon's request. At this moment, he felt some admiration towards the Nether Luo clan from the bottom of his heart. From time to time, there would be an old woodcutter who was cutting bamboos in the Sifting Bamboo Sea. When he raised his head and saw Ning Fan deliberately slowing down his traveling light, he would wave his hand to greet him. This was originally very common in the mortal world. There was no need for a reason to show goodwill between people. However, in the cultivation world, if someone showed goodwill to him for no reason, Ning Fan would certainly think twice to see what the other party was planning. Ning Fan's expression changed. He yearned for this kind of life where he didn't have to scheme against others. However, he could no longer return to the past and become immortal. In order to descend from the Tao mountain and turn from an immortal to a mortal, one would at least need to have a cultivation base that reached the peak. At that time, no matter if you want to be a cultivator or immortal, no one would dare to provoke you. Once you embark on the path of cultivation, you could only keep moving forward before you reach the peak. Even if the Nether Luo clan lived in this place and got along well with the mortals on the surface, they were being bullied and humiliated by the other tree clans. The cultivation world was after all not a paradise. No matter how peaceful it pretended to be, there was always a sea of blood behind it that could not be concealed. The Sifting Bamboo Sea was only 4 million li wide. Even if Ning Fan deliberately slowed down his traveling light, it did not take him too long to reach the central region of the Sea of Bamboos. At the center of the Sea of Bamboos, there was a huge emerald green bamboo city. On top of the city, there was a plaque with 3 words written on it, Sifting Bamboo City. Outside the Sifting Bamboo City, there was a group of Gold Core Realm guards clad in tree armor. As soon as they saw a cultivator flying towards them with an extremely loud traveling light, the group of Gold Core Realm guards immediately became nervous. Currently, the Nether Luo clan no longer had any friends. If a high-level cultivator were to come, he would certainly be a troublemaker. The few Gold Core Realm guards exchanged glances with each other and were about to take out their spirit arrows to sound the alarm. At this moment, Qing Dai's comforting laughter that carried a hint of majesty entered the ears of the guards and even every corner of the entire Sifting Bamboo City. It's me. I'm Qing Dai. I'm back. Normally, she would lower her head in front of Ning Fan. However, in front of these low-grade clansmen, she was quite dignified. Qing Dai and Ning Fan withdrew their traveling light and landed outside the Sifting Bamboo City. As soon as the guards saw that it was Qing Dai who came, each of them immediately revealed a respectful expression and bowed to her. We, the members of the Nether Luo clan, greet the High Priest. 6 rays of traveling light flew out from the Sifting Bamboo City and landed at the city gate like smoke. They turned into 6 divine transformation realm old men who were clad in tree armor. Among the 6 old men, only 2 of them were mid-divine transformation realm cultivators while the rest were early divine transformation realm cultivators. As soon as they saw Qing Dai, the 6 of them bowed to her. We, the priests of the Nether Luo clan, welcome the High Priest back. Grandpa Gu Luo, Grandpa Su Luo, you two can dispense with the formalities. Qing Dai can't bear your kowtow. At first, Qing Dai still had a dignified expression on her face. However, when she saw the two mid-divine transformation realm old priests, her eyes immediately turned red as if she had seen her family members. After her mother passed away, these two old men treated her like a junior and nurtured her step by step to become the high priest of this generation. She would never forget their kindness for the rest of her life. As soon as Qing Dai said to dispense with the formalities, all the people of the Nether Luo clan rose to their feet. Priest Gu Luo and Priest Su Luo looked at Qing Dai. Their murky eyes were filled with gratification and joy. It has been 10 years since the high priest left Sifting Bamboo City this time. I suppose it must be very tiring for you to travel for 10 years. This time, you should stay at home for a few more days and go out to look for the remains of our ancestors later. Priest Gu Luo looked at Qing Dai's travel-worn face and could not help but feel a little distressed. For all these years, he and Su Luo had always treated Qing Dai as their granddaughter. If it wasn't for the sake of looking for the remains of their ancestors, they would definitely not let Qing Dai go out to explore the world. This time, I can stay in Sifting Bamboo City for a few more days. I have found all the remains of the 10 Void Refinement Realm ancestors. It was Big Brother Lu who helped me find them. What? All the remains of our ancestors have been found? Gu Luo's face turned pale with fright. Big Brother Lu. Su Luo was a cautious person. He squinted his old eyes and carefully looked at Ning Fan, who was standing beside Qing Dai with vigilance. The other 4 Divine Transformation Realm priests also carefully looked at Ning Fan with a solemn expression. These Divine Transformation Realm cultivators could not sense Ning Fan's qi at all. Ning Fan's qi was deep and restrained. Obviously, his cultivation realm was far beyond their imagination. Gu Luo also put away his surprised expression and looked at Ning Fan with a vigilant expression. At the same time, he secretly transmitted his voice to Su Luo. This person is unfathomable. He is at least at the Void Glimpse stage. No. More than that. Even though he did not reveal his qi, his hidden aura force is much stronger than Qing Dai's. This person is probably a Void Inquiry stage old monster. Su Luo analyzed. What? Void Inquiry stage. If this person harbors evil intentions towards our Ming Luo clan, we won't be able to resist him. Gu Luo was shocked. This time, it was fear. Ning Fan saw everyone's subtle expressions. He knew that his arrival had scared the members of the Ming Luo clan. My name is Liu Bei. I was entrusted by an old friend to protect the Ming Luo clan. This is the token. Ning Fan patted his storage pouch and took out the Blackwood token to show it to the 6 priests. The moment they saw the Blackwood token, the demon blood of the 6 Divine Transformation Realm priests boiled. Each of them wore a shocked expression. Tree Sovereign Token. They did not call it the Blackwood token but the Tree Sovereign token because it was the token of the past Tree Sovereigns of the Ming Luo clan. This item had disappeared along with the disappearance of the last Ming Luo Tree Sovereign. Why would it appear in Ning Fan's hands? This item was given to me by the last Tree Sovereign of the Ming Luo clan. He is not dead yet. Ning Fan's voice was very soft. He did not use telepathy but used a divine ability to make his voice so soft that only Qing Dai and the 6 priests could hear him. The other Gold Core Realm guards could not hear him. His words were like a huge stone that was thrown into the middle of a lake, immediately causing a huge wave. The 6 priests were shocked. Even Qing Dai covered her mouth with her hands in shock. Ning Fan had never told her where he got the Blackwood token from but now, he said it out loud. The last Ming Luo Tree Sovereign who had gone missing was actually not dead. This news was too shocking, too puzzling, and too unbelievable. How many tens of thousands of years had passed since the last Tree Sovereign went missing? No one could remember. What kind of person could live for such a long time? Could it be an immortal? Why did the last tree sovereign not send any news to the clan after he went missing? Even Qing Dai found it hard to believe Ning Fan's words. However, after Ning Fan activated the Blackwood token and forced out a trace of the tree sovereign's blood from it, everyone could feel the aura force coming from it. Thus, no one doubted Ning Fan's words anymore. There was no mistaking this bloodline aura force. It definitely belonged to the tree sovereign of the Ming Luo clan. Moreover, the qi of this blood was very dense. It had been sealed in the Blackwood token for no more than a year. This was the strongest evidence that the last Ming Luo tree sovereign was still alive. Since the last tree sovereign was still alive, his intention of giving the Blackwood token to Ning Fan was self-evident. Ning Fan was someone worthy of the trust of the Ming Luo clan. Ning Fan was the new tree sovereign who was conferred the title of the last tree sovereign. The handing over of the Blackwood token meant that the position of the tree sovereign would be passed on. Gu Luo, Su Luo, and the other 5 priests wished they could immediately kneel down in front of Ning Fan and address him as the tree sovereign. However, when they saw Ning Fan's eyes that rejected them, they immediately stopped their kneeling posture. Ning Fan did not want others to know that he was the current tree sovereign who held the Blackwood token. If this matter is spread out, no one knew if there would be old monsters in the tree world who would make things difficult for Ning Fan because of the Blackwood token or his identity as the Ming Luo tree sovereign. Big Brother Lu, let's go into the city and talk about it in detail. This isn't a good place to talk. Qing Dai reminded him softly. Ning Fan nodded his head and followed Qing Dai and the others into Si Luo City. However, the moment he entered the city, he suddenly turned his head and revealed a strange expression. Was it an illusion? He shook his head and muttered to himself. Millions of li away, a gigantic Xiang Fei bamboo suddenly let out a soft whimper. The whimper was very soft. It was obvious that it had not stopped even though it was already late at night. Mu Luo is still alive. He is still alive. I knew that he wouldn't die so easily. He still owes me a pot of wine and a promise. He won't die so easily. Mu Luo was the name of the last Ming Luo tree sovereign. This name had once spread across the tree world. But now, only a lonely Xiang Fei bamboo still remembered it. It was because he still owed her a pot of wine and a promise. The hollow bamboo had a soul dwelling. The root of the soul was in the heart of the bamboo. The root of the soul and the heart of the bamboo were inseparable. If there comes a day when I kill all my enemies, I'm willing to give up my position as the tree sovereign and bring you to live in seclusion in a desolate mountain that no one knows about. At that time, there will only be moonlight above our heads. Other than a pot of wine, there will only be you by my side. I will never abandon you in this life. On a desolate mountain in Yu country in the rain world. The clone of the Ming Luo tree demon was sitting in a lonely pavilion outside the grass hut on the mountain. He was looking at the boundless moonlight above his head. He took a pot of wine from the table and drank alone. There was no sadness, no distress, no other expression on his face. There was no smile on his face. His heart had already become barren. It had been ravaged by time and there were no longer any emotions left. There was only the figure of a woman that could not be erased. He did not forget that promise. He was finally no longer the Ming Luo tree sovereign. However, he could no longer return to the tree world. As for her, she must have already turned into dust and passed away. In this life, he would never be able to fulfill that promise. In this life, he would never see her again. I'm sorry. The Ming Luo tree demon closed his eyes and sighed under the moonlight. No one heard him. Chapter 580. Ning Fan simplified the matter of obtaining the 10 Ming Luo puppets to the few Ming Luo priests. Of course, he did not tell them about the fact that he had killed the returning Essence Tree King to avoid scaring the underworld Raja race. He briefly told the story of how he met the Min Luo Treant. He only said that the Min Luo Treant was trapped in the rain world, and did not mention anything about the Dark Sparrow's grave. Gu Luo, Su Luo, and the other priests all had tears in their old eyes. They wouldn't cry when the underworld Luo clan was bullied. When 100,000 of their clansmen perished because of Qing Dai, they would never be able to enter the reincarnation cycle. However, when they heard that the last tree emperor was still in the mortal world, they could not help but cry tears of joy. Their ancestors were still alive and with them. Now it was all good. Gu Luo suggested heading to the Rain World to rescue the tree emperor, but this suggestion was rejected by Su Luo and the other priests. The last tree emperor had been unable to escape for so many years. Clearly, it was extremely difficult for him to escape. With their insignificant cultivation, not to mention the fact that it was impossible for them to go to the Rain World, even if they went there, they would definitely not be able to save the tree emperor. Instead, they would expose the fact that the tree emperor was still alive. The matter of rescuing the last tree emperor could only be discussed at length. At this moment, their top priority was to quickly summon all the members of the Nether Rakshasa clan in the Sea Luo Bamboo Sea to return to the clan and attend the funeral of the 10 Void Refinement Realm ancestors. Night gradually fell. In the illusory graveyard in the center of Sea Luo City, a huge wooden frame was set up and a bonfire was lit. The so-called illusory grave was the burial ground of the Nether Raja clan's past clansmen. Countless underworld Luo clansmen rushed back to Sea Luo City from all over the Bamboo Ocean. Underworld Luo clansmen were busy everywhere in the city, preparing for the funeral of their 10 ancestors. Gu Luo, Su Luo, and the other priests, along with Qing Dai, the Grand Priest, were all busy preparing for the funeral. Ning Fan, on the other hand, seemed to have nothing to do and began strolling around the city. Now, all the members of the Ming Luo clan knew that Ning Fan was a void inquiry stage cultivator and a friend of their clan. Therefore, no one stopped him from walking freely in the city. The illusory grave was lit with incense of various colors. Even if Ning Fan walked to the western part of the city, he could still smell the strong scent of incense. He walked alone in the night sky lit up by the bonfire. His heart was unprecedentedly peaceful. He had heard about Qing Dai's past from the 6 priests. 1,000 years ago, when Qing Dai was still young, her mother, who was the high priestess, died at the hands of the Cedar clan. Within 1,000 years, a total of 100,000 members of the Nether Civ clan sacrificed their own cultivation base to condense a cultivation pill for Qing Dai to consume at the cost of having their souls scattered and never being able to enter the cycle of reincarnation for eternity. It allowed Qing Dai to finally break through to the Void Glimpse stage. The 100,000 Underworld Azura clan members didn't hesitate to give up their lives for the Underworld Azura clan to prosper, but for the sake of retrieving their ancestors' remains. They didn't want their ancestors' remains to wander outside. The 10 Ming Luo spiritual puppets all had Void Glimpse stage cultivation base. To the Ming Luo clan that had fallen into decline today, they were a powerful combat force. If these 10 Void Glimpse stage spiritual puppets were used to protect the Nether Luo clan, given Qing Dai's puppet techniques, it would definitely be enough to turn the Nether Luo clan into a first-rate force in the Azure Cold Country again. They would no longer be bullied by the other tree clans. However, the people of the Underworld Seaver clan were very, very stupid. They undid the puppet formation of the 10 puppets and destroyed the 10 puppets, leaving only 10 ordinary corpses without any combat power. Then, he buried the corpses of these ancestors. They are stupid, but I don't dislike it. The night breeze was slightly cold. Ning Fan closed his eyes and recalled the past of the Hu clan in Yu country. In order to protect his clan, Hu Fengzi didn't hesitate to disperse his soul and transform it into a cultivation pill. The 100,000 members of the Underworld Seaver clan didn't hesitate to disperse their souls in order to retrieve their ancestors' remains and bury them. There was never a lack of smart people on the path of cultivation. Any old monster who had gone through a sea of blood was an intelligent person. On the path of cultivation, there was always a lack of stupid people. Despite knowing that it was impossible, despite knowing that there was a mountain of knives and a sea of fire in front of him, for the sake of protecting his obsession, he still did not hesitate to die. He did not betray justice. Even if there were millions of people, he would still go forward. They knew that everything they were doing was meaningless, but they still stubbornly searched for a result. They knew that going against the heavens would lead to trepidation at every step, but they still smiled for her sake. They would rather betray the heavens than betray them. Those who were too smart and calculative would usually not be happy. The faces of Ji He, Mu Xiaoyang and the other girls appeared in front of Ning Fan's eyes. Suddenly, he smiled knowingly. If these silly girls had his protection, perhaps their hands would not be stained with blood for the rest of their lives and they would live happily ever after. Great wisdom appears to be slow-witted, great skill appears to be clumsy, great sound is silent, great elephant is formless, great abundance is like rushing, great debate is like being slow, great generosity is like being bent, great accomplishment is like being incomplete. This was the purest great Tao. When a superior scholar hears the Tao, he must diligently follow it. When a mediocre scholar hears the Tao, he must either live or die. When a lowly scholar hears the Tao, he must laugh. If he does not laugh, he will not be able to attain the Tao. The people of the world laughed at the stupidity of the underworld Raja clan, but they didn't know that the underworld Raja clan's actions were in line with human ethics and compatible with the great Tao. If everyone could understand the underworld Raja clan's Tao, then this Tao wouldn't be considered a great Tao. Ning Fan took out the blood wine gourd and gulped down a mouthful of wine. Then, he suddenly turned his head to look at the huge bonfire in the center of Si Luo City. His eyes became deeper and deeper. The extreme of the great Tao was the opposite. The extremity of great reality turned into nothingness. Throughout Ning Fan's path of cultivation until now, he had seen the void as void in the beginning. Later on, he saw the void as not void and in the end, he still saw the void as void. However, at this moment, his eyes were clearly looking at reality, but the will in his eyes was illusory. He had gradually comprehended the void and corporeal intents. His comprehension of the void Pierce stage was already sufficient and he had almost completely comprehended the absolute void stage. He looked at the bonfire in the illusion grave from afar and watched as the corpses of the 10 void refinement realm old ancestors were gradually burned into ashes. He saw the 320,000 members of the underworld Raja clan kneeling on the ground. Their eyes were filled with tears as they sincerely prayed and offered sacrifices to the bonfire. My underworld Raja clan was born as a tree. Our roots are rooted in the ground. Where our roots are is our country. Our country can be destroyed, our roots can be burned, our bodies can be destroyed and our Tao can vanish. Only our ancestors are not to be bullied or defiled by others. After 10,000 years of calamity, the bones of our ancestors were scattered. Thinking about it makes my heart ache. Our descendants are unfilial. I swear that I won't be satisfied until I kill 10,000 of them. Our descendants swear in the illusion grave that even if all 320,000 members of our clan die, we will definitely kill 10,000 of them. If we violate this oath, we shall be killed by the heavens. That vast oath was powerful and resonant, causing ripples to form in Ning Fan's heart. Under the bonfire, Qing Dai, who was dressed in luxurious clothes, danced around the bonfire barefooted and prayed devoutly. Her eyes were filled with nostalgia for her ancestors. Her dancing posture was just too beautiful. She was just like a dancing green butterfly, the corner of Ning Fan's mouth curved into a smile. He lifted the gourd of blood wine and drank a few mouthfuls of it. His eyes became clearer as he watched Qing Dai's dancing posture. Her dancing posture was real while her nostalgia for her ancestors was illusory. The bonfire was real while the voices of the oath that melted in the bonfire were illusory. The corpses of the 10 ancestors were real. When their corpses turned into ashes in the blazing flames, the sorrowful cries of the ancestors that reverberated across the entire Si Luo city were illusory. Ning Fan bent his palm and drew a bamboo leaf from one of the Xiang Fei bamboo. That bamboo leaf was real. However, as Ning Fan exerted his palm force, the bamboo leaf gradually turned into a cloud of illusory green qi. As Ning Fan willed it, the illusory green qi turned back into the bamboo leaf again. Illusory and real were decided by a single thought. Ning Fan threw the bamboo leaf back into the soil. He closed his eyes and his body gradually faded in the darkness of the night. Gradually, his physical body turned into nothingness, as if it had disappeared into the night. That was the transformation of his physical body into nothingness. It was a complete transformation. When he was at the void inquiry stage, Ning Fan had also transformed his physical body into nothingness. However, he had not reached this stage yet. At this moment, thanks to this trip to the Si Luo Bamboo Sea, his comprehension of the word void was completely perfected. As long as he had enough magic power, he could break through the bottleneck of the void pierce stage and attain the absolute void stage. With a thought in his mind, his body gradually reappeared in the boundless night. There was no sadness or joy on his face. He was calm and composed, as if attaining the absolute void stage was a matter of course, and he was not surprised at all. Silly little brother, you have already broken through to the absolute void stage. If you have enough magic power now, you can break through to the absolute void stage in one go. However, I have to remind you that the biggest obstacle for you to break through to the absolute void stage isn't comprehension or magic power but the heavenly tribulation. If you are not fully prepared, you must not go through the tribulation rashly. The heavenly tribulation this time will certainly be stronger than the previous one. There is an 80 to 90% chance that it will be the Yin Wind tribulation. Luo Yu chuckled in his mind and reminded him. I understand. Thank you. Ning Fan returned a smile to Luo Yu. Usually, Luo Yu seemed to be indifferent to him. She purposely kept a distance from him and did not talk much with him. However, every time she saw him in trouble, she would show concern and remind him. Even though Luo Yu avoided him in all aspects, she was not necessarily heartless towards him. After all, what kind of hatred did she have that could make her run away from her emotions like this? Boom! The wooden frame of the bonfire in the center of Si Luo City suddenly let out a loud bang. It was shattered by a huge palm imprint that fell from the sky. The ashes of the fire scattered in the night sky. The ashes of the 10 Void Refinement Realm corpses also dispersed along with the wind. In the vast sky above, the sneers of the 3 old men suddenly resounded. The Ming Luo clan is really stupid. They clearly found the Void Glimpse stage spiritual puppets of their 10 ancestors, but they destroyed them and cremated their ancestors. How stupid. If there are 10 Void Glimpse stage experts in the Ming Luo clan, I'm afraid we would have to lose more people after we massacred them today. However, the 10 Void Glimpse stage spiritual puppets have already been destroyed. There are only the Void Glimpse stage high priest and 2 Void Inquiry stage experts left in the Ming Luo clan. They are not worth mentioning at all. How dare a declining clan like the Ming Luo clan kill the people of my Snow Pine clan? They are simply courting death. Before the 3 sneers stopped, an army of nearly 1 million gold core realm cultivators suddenly descended from the sky above Si Luo City. These cultivators were divided into 4 clans with 4 huge flags: Snow Pine Clan, Stone Tree Clan, Thunder Cypress Clan, and Divine Joe Clan. The 3 people who were sneering were the 3 ancestors of the Cedar Clan. They were all great void cultivators. The fact that they managed to expose the matter of the Void Glimpse stage spiritual puppets and so on showed that they had already investigated the background of the underworld Luo clan before they came to the thought-sifting Bamboo Sea. They had come prepared, and this time, they wanted to annihilate the Nether Raja clan in one go. Even that lord, whose soul had turned into bamboo and whose life was no better than reincarnation, could not stop the 4 clans' determination to destroy the underworld net. Who is the madman who killed my child? Get the hell out here. Beside the 3 old ancestors Snowpine, a middle-aged man dressed in a silver robe roared angrily. He was a Void Pierce stage cultivator and the current clan leader of the Snowpine clan. His name was Ao Wang. Ao Chen, the young lord of the Snow Song sect whom Ning Fan had killed, was his son. The Cedar clan and the other 3 tree clans descended abruptly, mobilizing 1 million cultivators. Among them, there were 30 Void Refinement cultivators. There were 11 Void Glimpse stage cultivators, 7 Void Inquiry stage cultivators, 6 Void Pierce stage cultivators and 6 Absolute Void stage cultivators. All the high-level cultivators of the four clans were mobilized to participate in the bloodbath of the underworld Luo clan. Only the low-level cultivators were left in the clans. Qing Dai, Gu Luo, Su Luo, the other priests and the 320,000 members of the underworld Luo clan raised their heads and looked at the 1 million cultivators in the night sky. Their eyes were filled with rage. Their ritual to worship their ancestors was destroyed by the cultivators of the four clans. The ashes of their ancestors were scattered by the four clans and it was difficult to retrieve them. Even though they knew that the other party had a large number of experts, the members of the underworld Luo clan were still filled with righteous indignation. Immediately, hundreds of members of the underworld Luo clan ignited their demon cores and demon nascent souls and soared into the sky, wanting to perish together with the cultivators of the four clans. They could endure being cursed, bullied and ridiculed by others. They did not care. However, their ancestors were bullied and their ashes were scattered by others. How could they endure it? How could they endure it? You've gone too far. Ao Wang, the clan leader of the Snow Pine clan, sneered coldly in the sky. He stomped on the ground with the tip of his foot and an ocean of void immediately appeared in the night sky. He lifted his finger and pointed. The physical bodies of the hundreds of members of the underworld Luo clan who soared into the sky exploded, turning into blood mist and dissipating in the air. How dare mere Gold Core Realm and Nascent Soul Realm ants fight against me? You're simply overestimating your own strength. Currently, the only ones in the underworld Luo clan who can make me look them in the eye are the two Void Inquiry stage cultivators. Even your Void Glimpse stage High Priest Qing Dai is just an ant in my eyes. I'll count to 3. If the Void Inquiry stage maniac who killed my son still doesn't show himself, I'll immediately order a bloodbath of the underworld Luo clan. 1. 2. Before Ao Wang could count to 3, a sword chime that sounded like a dragon's roar suddenly resounded in the sky. In the night sky, a white-robed young man who was stepping on a huge black sword formed by his sword sense suddenly appeared in the night sky. Before Ao Wang could see the young man's face clearly, the young man and the sword sense beneath his feet actually shattered at the same time. For an instant, Ao Wang seemed to have seen the white-robed young man turn into black robes strangely. However, it was also like an illusion and he could not see it clearly. At the next moment, a sword sense that was as black as ink swept across the night sky. Before the 1 million Gold Core Realm cultivators of the four clans could react, they were already killed by the sword sense. In an instant, 200,000 to 300,000 cultivators had died. The old ancestors of the four clans were all absolute Void Realm experts. The Snow Pine clan had 3 absolute Void Realm experts while the other 3 clans had 1 each. The 6 absolute Void Realm experts acted at the same time and blocked the sword sense that swept across the night sky. Only then did they prevent more low-grade clansmen from dying. The 6 of them suppressed their anger. Before they could attack the white-robed young man, they saw countless black shadows suddenly appearing beside Ao Wang. The ink shadow shattered and condensed, forming a vast killing force that strangled Ao Wang within the ink shadow. When the black shadows dispersed, Ning Fan, who was dressed in white robes, held Ao Wang's primordial spirit in his hand. His eyes were filled with boundless baleful qi as he coldly glanced at the cultivators of the four clans. With just a glance, even the 6 absolute Void Realm experts of the four clans felt an unconcealable sense of fear. I am Liu Bei. I am the one who killed the young clan leader of your Snow Pine clan. What can you do to me? As soon as Ning Fan finished his words, the entire vast sky fell into dead silence. At the next moment, a Void Refinement Realm cultivator who had just returned from the North Tree Sea suddenly exclaimed. He is Liu Bei. He is the madman that the Vine Sovereign has captured. He actually escaped to my East Tree Sea. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.